Wait, quiet for a second, Talib Kweli. I'm looking at the YouTube chat here of this Jerome Powell thing. Dude, look at this. Announce QT, please, I'm shorting. Announce QT, please, I'm shorting. Gold, silver, buy before it's too late. Sell. Buy gold in a hodl Fettburger. Is that some German thing? Are Wall Street bets Jur? Oh, he's coming out. Wait, he's coming out. Oh, I want to do a presentation first. All right, wait, pause. I have a very short thing to say. Before we jump in. First of all, if you're seeing this on clips, just heads up that I did not have an editor when I recorded my offline video about Alex Preddy. And actually I'm glad that didn't happen because I was too angry in it and whatever. I gave my thoughts on Lemonade Stand and they came out today and I hope you check it out. Because I used my presentation for that. With regards to what's happening today with Jerome Powell, here's the brief primer that you need to know. Okay? Jerome Powell is almost done. RIP. Sad to see our soldier go. This is his second to last conference before he's out in May. He has this one, then he has the one in March, and then we will no longer have Jerome Powell. He will be transitioning to a new Fed chair. And if you don't remember, it's because so much damn news has happened in January. Literally, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, a week ago, U.S. prosecutors investigated him as part of an attempt to get him to force him to lower interest rates, which he put out that 2-minute amazing video, kind of shutting the whole thing down, punch in the mouth. Trump kind of tacoed back down. Okay, that was the context going in. I was like, holy shit, what's going to happen? What is he going to do today? Because he's been now put under pressure by a criminal probe. Secondly, in these 2 weeks, gold has surged insanely, like almost vertical. And then actually vertical, silver. Precious metals are going crazy. The US dollar versus the Swiss franc is collapsing. Okay, we're seeing a real weakness in the dollar, which risks high inflation. As the value of your currency gets a lot weaker, the cost of things will go up. Consumer confidence has hit lows not seen since before COVID. As in, the most recent reading is lower than the depths of COVID. People are less confident now than they were in the beginning of 2020. So it is a bad situation on consumer confidence. Additionally, if you plot this with the stock market, which is only owned by the top 10%, or 90% is only owned by 90% of the stock is only owned by the top 10%, you literally get a K-shaped economy. Literally. I mean, if you plot them side by side, consumer confidence is collapsing while stock market rises. You are literally getting it, okay? The people that own the stocks are feeling quite good. People that don't are feeling more and more desperate. So it's a tough situation for Jerome Powell today. Jerome Powell is really torn on his dual mandate. He has two men he wants to date. It's called raising interest rates and lowering interest rates, and he can't pick. Remember, if he raises interest rates, he thinks the biggest problem is inflation, which is a big problem. If he lowers them, he thinks the biggest problem is jobs, which is a big problem. U.S. long-term unemployment is at a 4-year high. People are reporting it is increasingly longer and longer to find a job, especially one that fits their degree or things they want to do. Okay, it's getting harder and harder. There's deepening concerns about the hiring market. Additionally, if you choose to lower interest rates, it is kind of seen, let's move this over a little bit. If you choose to lower interest rates, it's kind of seen as giving in to Trump, who again is trying to criminally pressure you into doing that. Donald Trump has been very clear.
I've been saying, let's get interest rates down. You know, nobody ever gets rich when the interest rates are high because people can't borrow money. Interest rates are...
Nobody gets rich if you can't borrow money. Donald J. Trump. Okay? So he wants borrowing to be cheap to try and juice the economy. He is pressuring. And so all of this cycled into what we heard about 30 minutes ago when Jerome Powell said, fuck it, bro. He decided to do nothing. He's not raising them. He's not lowering them. They're holding them steady. It's a wait and see. Okay? It's a wait and see. We're not going up. We're not going down. Trump obviously probably pissed about this. Probably going to tweet or Truth Social today how angry he is at Too Late Powell for not getting interest rates down. Now, big thing before we jump into the conference, we're going to watch it. I'll catch up when 5 minutes behind. The big thing, who is next? There's been this big celebrity apprentice style hunt for the next Jerome Powell, the next Fed chair. Who is Trump going to pick? There's now 4 candidates. And the problem is none of them are exactly what Trump wants. They all have little flaws that don't make them the perfect Trump advocate. Here's the problem on Trump's side. He could literally pick Baron Trump or something to do it and know that person's going to lower interest rates. But the problem is he has to balance the fact that he wants them to do exactly what he says, but he also wants them to be trusted. They have to have trust. The market has to trust them that they're doing the right thing, and then the right thing has to be lowering interest rates. So he has to balance this impossible goal. And he's mentioned how difficult this is for him because every one of these candidates will say the right thing to him in meetings, but he's sneakily convinced they're going to actually do the smart thing once they're in power.
And I'll be announcing a new Fed chairman in the not too distant future. I think he'll do a very good job. See, I gave away some of it. He did give that away. So we have something, get something.
Listen to this.
But somebody that's very respected. They're all respected. They're all great. Everyone that I interviewed is great. Everyone could do, I think, a fantastic job. Problem is they change once they get the job. They do. They're saying everything I want to hear, and then they get the job. They're locked in for 6 years. They get the job, and all of a sudden, let's raise rates a little bit. I call them, sir, we'd rather not talk about this. It's amazing how people change once they have the job. It's too bad.
He's talking about him like an ex-lover. How people change. It's crazy how they change. Bro, their whole job is to be credibly independent and do the smart thing, which means sometimes they'll have to raise rates. But he's like jilted about it. So anyway, the guy that was the front runner, the guy that I've been talking about, Kevin Hassett, this guy right here, the guy's been all over Fox News glazing Trump. He went from 86% chance down to 6.8 because apparently Trump thinks he's going to switch up. He's just saying the right things, but he's going to switch up once he gets in. And the current leader right now is Rick Ryder. Rick Ryder of BlackRock, baby. He's got the open collar shirt. He's got the Apple Watch. Rick Ryder of BlackRock. By the way, it's funny to see Scott Bessent is in the top 5 as his 9th job. As his 9th job in the administration, Scott Bessent is top 5. But Rick Ryder's currently leading. Rick Ryder has been on Fox News. He's from BlackRock. He does have deep knowledge of the bond market and theoretically could do this job. But for some reason, Trump thinks this guy is going to be the one to lower interest rates and do what he says. Now, it is interesting because I looked into Rick Ryder. Rick Ryder, at least based on his donations, has actually been kind of a never Trumper. I'm surprised if he picks this guy. Also, yeah, it's just a bad look to be like, we need to get housing prices down. Let's get the guy from BlackRock. Just for his base or anyone. Nobody likes BlackRock. It's a bad look on that front. But however, Rick Ryder has donated to Jeb Bush against Trump the first time. He donated to Pete Buttigieg, and he donated to Nikki Haley, which he challenged Trump in 2023. So he seems like he's like a guy that's not 100% aligned with Trump, but he maybe just wants to get interest rates down for his own financial benefit. So anyway, we'll see. That being said, that's the context you need going in. I want to hear what Jerome Powell has to say about what's going on with Trump, what's going to go on with his next successor, and what's going on with the economy. So let's watch that right now. It is basically live. Oh, wait, is he not even here? Oh, perfect timing. Oh, no, I paused. Okay, sorry. Okay, here we go. JP! And we can just skip the... Too late, pal. At it again.
Good afternoon. My colleagues and I remain squarely focused on achieving our dual mandate goals of maximum employment
Somebody
and
just
stable
want to bet
prices for the benefit of the American people. The U.S. economy expanded at a solid pace last year. And
Dude, I love when they come out and they play the hits right away. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you go and see an artist and you only know their 2 hit songs and they don't wait till the end. They just come out and get the crowd going. Come out there and play the greatest hits, Jerome. Talk about the dual mandate.
coming into 2026 on a firm footing. While job gains have remained low, the unemployment rate has shown some signs of stabilization, and inflation remains somewhat elevated.
That's some weasel words, Jerome. The job gains are low, but there's some signs of stabilization. That's not what people are feeling, but
In support of our goals, today the Federal Open Market Committee decided to leave our policy rate unchanged. Having lowered our policy rate by 75 basis points over the course of our previous 3 meetings, we see the current stance of monetary policy as appropriate to promote progress toward both our maximum employment and 2% inflation goals.
I mean, translation is we're scared to death in both directions, bro. Jobs are not looking good. Inflation's not looking good. We got to wait and see.
I have more to say about monetary policy after briefly reviewing economic developments. Available indicators suggest that economic activity has been expanding at a solid pace. Consumer spending has been resilient, and business fixed investment has continued to expand. In contrast, activity in the housing sector has remained weak. The temporary shutdown of the federal government likely weighed on economic activity last quarter, but these effects should be reversed as the reopening boosts growth this quarter.
Okay. We got another shutdown
in the labor market,
5 days.
Indicators suggest that conditions may be stabilizing after a period of gradual softening. The unemployment rate was 4.4% in December and has changed little in recent months. Job gains have remained low. Total non-farm payrolls declined at an average pace of 22,000 per month over the last 3 months, excluding.
I mean, on the statistics front, I guess he's all right. But it's just so clear, right? Job gains are essentially zero. Okay, so it's a no hire economy, and then people are getting fired. It's not massive layoffs, but like that means it's steadily trickling up, as in there's not new good jobs and the old ones are being shut down. Amazon today announced like 11,000 white collar good job firings. And that's a company that's doing well. Amazon is a company that is doing well in this economy. 16,000, 16,000. I undercut by 5,000. 16,000 white collar jobs lost from Amazon. So there's no indication at all that there is some surge in like good job growth or any job growth, but especially good job growth. The only sector seeing job growth is healthcare. If you're trying to be a nurse, you can find a job. If you're trying to be caring for elderly people, you can find a job. Those are growing, but like that's not. We can't transition our entire. Well, maybe we are transitioning our entire company caring for elderly people, but
in government employment, private.
That and streamers. If you want to be a streamer, that's a growth industry. You can just say whatever the fuck you want and clip it, and it goes viral, and it's great. And then what else? What else is growing? I guess honestly, I think fucking economic pressure is pushing a lot of people to join fucking ICE because it's the only one offering signing bonuses, which is a great use of our government money. I'm glad we're throwing more money at that. So that I'm not kidding. Like, there's like not many things that are growing.
Payrolls rose at an average pace of 29,000 per month. A good part of the slowing in the pace of job growth over the past year reflects a decline in the growth of the labor force due to lower immigration and labor force participation, though labor demand has clearly softened as well.
Yeah.
Other indicators, including openings, layoffs, hiring, and nominal wage growth, show little change in recent months. Inflation has eased significantly from its highs in mid-2022, but remains somewhat elevated relative to our 2% longer run goal. Estimates based on the Consumer Price Index indicate that total PCE prices rose.
I want to pause here again. The Consumer Price Index, I don't think it's fraudulent or anything. I don't think anything's wrong with that, but it only measures like basic consumer goods. And where we're seeing the real inflation, where we're seeing the real devaluing of your currency is the ability of your dollar to buy hard assets. Okay? You can't buy housing. You can't buy gold. You can't buy land. You can't buy, your paycheck in oil and barrels of oil is down. You know what I'm saying? Like these are where you're seeing the inflation and the devaluation of your currency the most. It's happening elsewhere, but that is where you're seeing it the most. So this doesn't accurately reflect the fact that people are feeling like they can't buy enough with their paycheck. Like they are feeling it's falling behind. Their real wage growth doesn't feel to be there because maybe you can buy more TVs or toys or some consumer goods, but you cannot buy healthcare. You cannot buy childcare. You can't buy college education. All these things are outpacing the increase. So that is inflation, and it's not measured in the CPI.
0.9% over the 12 months ending in December, and that excluding the volatile food and energy categories, core PCE prices rose 3.0%. These elevated readings.
Energy prices are down. Just got to fully stop say it, energy prices are down. Well, I mean, not electricity, I'm sorry. Energy as in oil. Oil prices are down.
Largely reflect inflation in the goods sector, which has been boosted by the effects of tariffs. In contrast, disinflation appears to be continuing in the services sector. Near-term measures of inflation expectations have declined from last year's peaks, as reflected in both market and survey-based measures. Most measures of longer-term expectations remain consistent with our 2% inflation goal. Our monetary policy actions are guided by our dual mandate to promote maximum employment and stable prices for the American people. At today's meeting, the committee decided to maintain the target range for the federal funds rate at 3.5% to 3.75%. Since last September, we have lowered our policy rate 75 basis points, or 0.75 of a percentage point, bringing it within a range of plausible estimates of neutral. This normalization of our policy stance should help stabilize the labor market while allowing inflation to resume its downward trend toward 2%, once the effects of tariff increases have passed through. We are well positioned to determine the extent and timing of additional
adjustments. It's so funny. He keeps talking about tariff increases like it was a one-time thing in April. We figured it out. We all know Trump, dude. We had a deal with Korea and he tossed it out and threw another fucking 25%. There's new tariffs all the damn time. We just have a new tariff on Canada. There's supposed to be a deal there. And plus there could be a Supreme Court ruling that could change all that. The idea that the tariff is a fixed thing that as a pass-through effect on inflation and then it's done is not reflected by his actions.
Adjustments to our policy rate based on the incoming data, the evolving outlook, and the balance of risks. Monetary policy is not on a preset course, and we will make our decisions on a meeting-by-meeting basis. To conclude, the Fed has been assigned two goals for monetary policy, maximum employment and stable prices. We remain committed to supporting maximum employment, bringing inflation sustained.
Bro, this is one of his craziest meetings. He opened with dual mandate, the middle was dual mandate, and he's closing with dual mandate. He basically hasn't said anything. He basically
to our 2% goal and keeping longer-term inflation expectations well anchored. Our success in delivering on these goals matters to all Americans. We at the Fed will continue to do our jobs with objectivity, integrity, and a deep commitment to serve the American people. Thank you. I look forward to your questions.
Damn, what a presentation.
Hi. Chris Rugaber at Associated Press. Thank you.
What do we got?
I wanted to ask that, you attended the Supreme Court hearing last week on the Lisa Cook case, and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent criticized that as political. Can you say why you attended and what you would say in response to the Secretary's criticism?
Just a little context. Lisa Cook is one of the Fed governors who votes on whether to raise or lower interest rates. As part of, he leads the Federal Reserve, but they all vote. And she is also under investigation with political pressure from Trump. They tried to accuse her of mortgage fraud to try and get her out. Again, they're trying to staff there's 12 people that vote. They're trying to staff it with as many Trump supporters as possible so they can always win the vote to lower interest rates. That's the idea. Okay. I made a video about this in the past. You can check it out, including where we found out that in fact, the mortgage fraud being accused had been committed by Bill Pulte, his parents, like five of Scott Bessent's family, like people all around that are accusing her had done the exact mortgage fraud.
So let me start with, I don't respond to comments by other officials, whoever they may be. It's just not appropriate to do that. I will tell you why I attended. I would say that that case is perhaps the most important legal case in the Fed's 113-year history. And as I thought about it, I thought might be hard to explain why I didn't attend. In addition, Paul Volcker went to a Supreme Court case famously in, I guess, 1985 or so. So it's precedented, and I thought it was an appropriate thing, and I did it.
Great. And then just quickly follow on the job market. You mentioned last month that the household survey might be distorted, and you also mentioned the potential for overcounting jobs, which would suggest that we're still in a negative hiring pace. So do you see the drop in the unemployment rate as solid? And what's the basis for saying that things have stabilized? Thank you.
So, yeah, really two questions. One is, so we're getting through the distortions in the data from the shutdown. However big they were in November, they're smaller in December. So we're getting to a place where they're no longer material. They're still there, but it's a tweak here and there. The reason why we changed the statement, let me pull it out, was simply, it used to say that judges that downside risks to employment rose in recent months. So we saw, data coming in which suggests some signs of stabilization. I wouldn't go too far with that, but some signs of stabilization. There are also some signs of continued cooling. And so we thought that was no longer an accurate description of the data. In addition, the outlook for economic activity has clearly improved since the last meeting, and that should matter for labor.
To be clear, I don't think it's crooked numbers, by the way. There was the shutdown, so there was no numbers, and then there's the numbers they get. But the problem with these numbers, just in general, and this is even before Trump, this is just a general problem with the numbers, is that a lot of them rely on surveys. And the quality of these surveys has declined massively. The response rate, like if you go back 15, 20, 30 years, the response rate for those surveys is like, I don't know, 100 times, like 100% higher, 200% higher. It's like way higher. Like people used to respond a lot more. So now they get way fewer responses and they're way lower quality and they're still using the same models. And so it often ends with like numbers that are not accurate. People don't answer the phone anymore. People that do are not giving us high quality answers.
For demand and for employment over time. So for those two reasons, we thought we would take that language out of the statement.
Nick Timros, The Wall Street Journal. Chair Powell, you've generally avoided engaging with political controversies directly, and the video statement on January 11th was a departure. What made this different, and are you concerned it could draw the institution further into political debates?
So today I'm simply going to refer you to the statement that I made on January 11. I'm not going to expand on it or repeat it. So I'm just not going to. This is really about the press conference and the economy and what we did today, and some ancillary areas, but I'm not going to be getting into that.
Can you say whether the Fed has responded to the subpoenas?
I have nothing for you on that today.
Mike. I gotta say, I do like his aura around political questions. He's like doesn't get baited. Like, this has been a few years of us watching this now, at least a year and a half, and they always try, and he's always been very simple answers. No, here's what I'll say. Statements are always clean. I respect that because they would love to make it messy, and the messier it is, the better it is for Trump, who can then find little things to pick apart. When he keeps it clean and straightforward into the facts, I think it works better.
Michael McKee from Bloomberg Radio TV. Have you made a decision on whether you would remain as a governor of the Federal Reserve? If so, would you tell us what it is? And if not, when might we anticipate a decision?
No, and I really, once again, have nothing for you on that today. That either.
Why would you want to leave it all under the circumstances?
Okay, I want to explain the context of this question too, so you can understand. So Jerome Powell is going to be stepping down in May. That's the end of his term. However, he has the right and the ability to stay on as one of the 12 voting governors. So that means, and by the way, his vote carries a lot of weight. People respect him. He's been the chair for a long time. If he's in the argument and he's like, hey, I think we should raise interest rates or whatever, it could have a powerful effect. People even say he could be a shadow Fed chair, which is kind of like a badass thing that exists. He could be the shadow chair where he's not the one up here giving conferences, but his word has so much weight that he's the one dictating what. So there's a chance of that happening. Now, theoretically, I think the unwritten rule, the unspoken rule, is that he's supposed to step down and like leave. But he could stay on, and he hasn't decided yet. Now, this is like unprecedented times, and maybe he should stay on. Like, I think maybe his voice would be a good counterbalance to what Trump is trying to do. But, you know, in normal times, he should probably step down and leave.
Again, I don't want to get into this. Not something I'm. There's a time and place for these questions, but not something I'm going to be getting into today. Thank you.
Thank you. Claire Jones, Financial Times. Thanks a lot for taking my questions. In another one that might, lead to a similar answer. We've seen quite big movements in the dollar over recent days.
Yeah.
What do you think is driving the U.S. currency lower? And have you been at all concerned just by the extent of the volatility we've seen this week? Thank you.
So, Claire, as you probably know, we don't comment on the dollar. Really, the administration, especially the Treasury Department, has the job of oversight over the currency and exchange rates and all that. We don't comment on that. It's not our role. So I have nothing for you.
I mean, what's your view on the market movements? I mean, what do you think behind them? Is it asset managers diversifying? Is it?
Yeah, I just don't. We don't talk about the dollar. We don't talk about what moves it around.
Right. Just him smiling, shaking his head. Nope. I ain't giving you shit. He's obviously not going to answer these questions, though. I mean, I don't know. I guess they want to ask him for the off chance he breaks once, but he's not going to break on.
It's just not appropriate for us to do so. Really, the Treasury Department has that. It's their role, their bailiwick, and we stay off it. We do monetary policy and some other things, but we don't comment on the dollar. Sorry.
Neil.
Hi, Chair Powell. Neil Irwin with Axios. Obviously, no SEP in this meeting, but in light of the slight firming up of the language around growth in the labor market in the statement, should we assume that the timeline for any further rate cuts is pushed back compared to what people might have thought in December?
Well, first of all, if you look at the incoming data since the last meeting, clear improvement in the outlook for growth. The data have come in, and sentiment, the Beige Book, everything comes in suggesting that this year starts off on a.
Oh, what the fuck are you talking about, Jerome Powell? I haven't seen the Beige Book yet. I'll have to check it out. Maybe there's some on-the-ground sentiment in some parts of the country that are losing, but we just saw the consumer sentiment. I mean, wait. Bring this back up, bro. I didn't fucking make this up. Consumer confidence is like fucking crashing. It just crashed in January. It is now, again, like I said, it's below the depths of COVID. It is below this line. So it's back to like coming out of the Great Recession and in the wrong direction. I just, I have not seen anything that's saying it's in the right direction. So that's a weird statement to make. But again, I haven't read the Beige Book. Maybe there's something I missed.
On a solid footing for growth. Inflation performed about as expected, and as I mentioned, some of the labor market data came in suggesting, we're evidence of stabilization. So it's overall a stronger forecast, really, if that's your question. I'm not sure I answered your question.
But in terms of timing or pacing of any additional easing?
So we haven't made, what we'd say about this was that after this meeting, after the 3 recent rate cuts, we're well positioned to address the risks that we face on both sides of our dual mandate, and we'll continue to make our decisions meeting by meeting based on the incoming data, the implications for.
I mean, look, you people are asking about AI data center investment. There's absolutely like people making money off AI data center buildouts. There was a great video I saw. They were interviewing like electricians who are doing some of the wiring. People are moving cross country to make gold rush money, helping. Like there's parts where there's money flowing in. Like tons of money is being poured into the construction, the land, the setting up, the fucking water needs of making data centers. But that overall, it's a pretty small part of the economy. My buddy's doing this in Reno. People, you probably know people who are trying to get in on this in some way. There's a bit of a boom town thing as they're being built. But, you know, the understanding is that once they're built, these jobs disappear. So it's a bit of a, you know, it's a bit of a selling shovels and gold rush kind of thing.
The outlook and the balance of risks. Haven't made any decisions about future meetings, but you know, the economy is growing at a solid pace. The unemployment rate has been broadly stable, and inflation remains somewhat elevated. So we'll be looking to our goal variables and letting the data light the way for us.
Steve.
Steve Leisman, CNBC, and sticking with questions you might answer. Thank you.
6-7.
You had previously, I believe, described the current policy rate being at the higher end of neutral. And if you look at the longer run, the SEP and the longer run rate, 16 of 19 officials are actually below there on their long run. Is the Fed still in a process of bringing it down towards a middle range of neutral? And what would it take to get there?
So the count I did was that 4 of the 19 were at or above that. Maybe I missed by 1, but I thought it was 4. And if you look at the dealer survey, it was 10 out of 58 where we're at or above. So you're right. It's the higher end of the range. What we say is it's within the range of plausible estimates. This is the higher end of that range, but so for some people they think it's neutral. I think, and many of my colleagues think, it's hard to look at the incoming data and say that policy's significantly restrictive at this time. It may be sort of loosely neutral, or it may be somewhat restrictive.
Yeah.
You know, it's in the eye of the beholder, and of course, no one knows with any precision. So, is that you had a follow up?
I get what you're saying, but some officials have described the Fed being in a mode of bringing it down eventually over time. Are you still in that mode, or is this a place to hang out?
Yeah.
Why do they ask these fucking questions? My God, he's always going to say, you know what? We're going to take it as it comes. We're going to be data dependent. Why are they always trying to get him to say, like, this is what it's going to be by the end of the year? He's not going to tell you that. He's never going to tell you that. Of course he's not going to tell you that, because they have to wait for the data to come in. The questions piss me off in these things the more I watch them. Bro, I just ask some real questions.
I would say if you look at the SEP from December, most people had additional normalization. But at the same time, we've done a lot of the process of normalizing. A good piece of it is done with 75 basis points, and before that, 100. It's 175 basis points we've cut since we began cutting in September of 2024. So you've moved now to, you know, Fed funds is running just a little below 3.65%. So you've moved a good way, and we think we're well positioned here to watch how the economy performs, look at the data. We're not making decisions about future meetings, but we do think we're well positioned after those 3 cuts to let the data speak to us.
Oh, shocker. Fucking shocker.
Thank you, Chair Powell. Mara Mokway from Bloomberg News. To what extent did the committee discuss the possibility of cutting at this meeting or in March? And how are you all thinking about the conditions that would merit another rate cut? Is there broad agreement on the committee about what it would take?
I legitimately, this is not an arrogant thing to say, just based on how these conferences go, I could do Jerome Powell's job. In this meeting. Not his job, but I could do the press conference. He could send me up there and I could answer the same way. I know what he's going to say. I could do this fucking job. All you have to do is say dual mandate 4 times, and then they ask you questions that you obviously can't answer. You just say no. And then anything they ask about the future, just go, we'll be data dependent. We'll see how it comes. That's all you have. That's literally what this job is, because they're trying to get data that he can't obviously give.
So there was broad support on the committee for holding today. Broad, I would say, including among non-voters.
Yeah, there's only 2 dissents of all the voters who did want it lower. I think one of them was one of the Fed chair nominees that Trump's looking at. One of the Kevins, I believe.
So that's where that was. Of course, some people
no, it was Christopher
didn't want
Waller.
to cut
It was Waller. I'm sorry, Waller. Waller
and dissented, but committee pretty broadly for holding today. We're not trying to articulate a test for when to next cut or whether to cut at the next meeting. What we're saying is we're well positioned as we make decisions.
Yeah, it was Christopher Waller and Kevin James. You're right. It was Paul Blart Mall Cop. He's one of the 12 Fed governors who votes, and he really wants rates down. Yeah, Kevin James, the actor. Yes, if you can believe it. Thank you for that helpful.
Meeting by meeting, looking at the incoming data, evolving outlook and all that. And, we're in a position where, we still have some tension between employment and inflation, but it's less than it was. I think that the upside risks to inflation and the downside risks have probably both diminished a bit. So, we'll be looking at that. It's about how you weigh the risks to the two goals and how big those, and quantify them. And so there are different views on the committee, and, we'll find our way forward as the data evolve.
Oh, wow.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Edward Lawrence from Fox Business. Has the effects of tariffs already moved through the economy on prices?
Jerome Powell knows ball?
A lot of it has. So basically, there are many different estimates, and they're all highly uncertain. But most of the overrun in goods prices is from tariffs. And that's actually good news, because if it weren't from tariffs, it might mean it's from demand, and that's a harder problem to solve. We do think tariffs are likely to move through and be a one-time price increase. So most of the overshoot, if you were to take that out, inflation, core PCE inflation is running just a bit above 2%, ex the effects of tariffs on goods. And the other good news is, if you look away from goods and look at services, you do see ongoing disinflation in.
I just want to break down that statement, though, because I agree with what you're saying broadly. But what you're saying is, okay, tariffs are a one-time thing that has caused goods to be more expensive. But that's not going to be long-term inflation. That's just a one-time thing, and it won't keep going up. And that's fair. But what you're saying is, even without tariffs, inflation is running above 2%. It's not way above 2%, but if the goal was an average of 2% long run, and we've been way above, we're nowhere near going low, you're above 2% even without tariffs. So with tariffs, you're going much higher. It's like, it doesn't paint a good picture about inflation. People aren't feeling, and that's on the stuff in the CPI.
In all the categories of services. So that's a healthy development. So that's what's going on. The expectation is that we will see the effects of tariffs flowing through goods prices, peaking, and then starting to come down, assuming there are no new major tariff increases that are begun. And that's what we expect to see over the course of this year. If we see that, if we see that, that would be something that tells us that we can loosen policy. Also, if we see something that suggests that the labor market is not stabilizing, that in fact the downside risks reemerge, or the data just get worse, we'd have to look at both of those. We have a two-sided mandate.
If President Trump does pick a new Fed chairman before May, what does that look like? How would you work with that person, and what does that transition period look like?
I don't have anything for you on that. That will depend on.
That's a fair question, Jerome. Answer that one. He's just asking if you would work with the next guy, or what the handover process looks like. I want to know the answer to that question. Like, do you do your meeting in May, or does the next person do it, or like what? I want to know. Answer the question. Give me something.
Congress's actions and things I can't speculate on.
Howard Schneider with Reuters. Thank you for taking our questions. Given the changes in the statement and all you've said so far, is it fair to describe risks to both sides of the Band-Aid as roughly balanced right now? And is the next move necessarily down?
How are you going to ask the same question as the other guy? Bro, he can't tell you the next move is necessarily down. He can't tell you that. He can't tell you what the next meeting's announcement is going to be in this meeting. I feel for you, Jerome. Look at his fucking face. You gotta get out there every fucking time and answer the same question. He's vexed. He's Dark Jerome. He might have an answer on whether or not it's balanced, but he obviously can't tell you about the next one.
I'd say that the upside risks to inflation and the downside risks to employment have diminished, but they still exist. So there's still some tension between the mandates. Are they fully in balance? Hard to say. And we think our policy's in a good place. I've just discussed reasons why we might change our policy, and we'll just have to see how the data lead us.
I'm wondering, you a minute ago you said you felt expectations were consistent with your mandate. That the 2 and the 10-year break-evens have moved quite notably in the last couple of weeks, I believe. Is there any concern on that front?
I mean, I recently looked at all of the both survey and market-based short-term inflation expectations have come way down. They were in a good place at the beginning of last year. They spiked around Liberation Day, and now they've fully retraced in the last few months. So that's very comforting. And the longer-term inflation expectations have remained in places that are very consistent with 2% inflation over time. So expectations have been solid, and they reflect confidence in the return to 2% inflation.
Andrew.
Apologies if this is a little bit repetitive, but in the past you've said that the reason you cut rates was that the risk to the labor market was greater than the risk to the inflation side. Is that still true?
We haven't made. You're right. We saw the labor market weakening, and we acted. And I think that was the appropriate thing to do. We will always act to address what we see as the economy moving away from our goals. Risks to both of the variables are a little less. I think the upside risk to inflation, again, a little bit less, and the downside risk to employment, a little less.
Sure.
I just would say that I'm not making a judgment about how, one of them is more at risk than the other, just that the risks to both of them have diminished.
Okay, thanks. BIS wrote a paper last summer which concluded that global investors were hedging their dollar exposures in ways that previously they hadn't because of policy uncertainty. Do you agree with BIS?
We really don't see much at all about that whole story. There's just not a lot of data that suggests that there's much to that.
Sorry,
Thanks.
what? There's not a lot of data that people are hedging their dollar exposure. Look at global stocks ex-US fucking surging. Look at gold surging. Look at silver surging. Look at all current fucking Swiss franc currency surging. I think there's a lot of evidence that that's happening. There's clearly something happening with the dollar.
Anna Swanson with the New York Times. Can you talk more about what you would need to see in the labor market to conclude it's time to resume easing? Do you need to see further deterioration in the labor market, or would it be enough for inflation to soften?
So we'll always be looking at both things. And so there could be combinations, infinite numbers of combinations that would cause us to want to move. Certainly, a weakening labor market would be an argument for loosening. But what's happening with inflation? If inflation were at the same time getting worse, you just have a very difficult situation there. So we'll be looking at both. Clearly, a weakening labor market calls for cutting. A stronger labor market says that the rates are in a good place. We'll have to be making similar judgments, too, on inflation, though.
And if inflation does pick back up and the labor market doesn't show further signs of deterioration, is there a chance that you could raise rates rather than simply remaining on hold? What would you need to see to consider hiking?
We don't take things off the table, but it isn't anybody's base case right now, anybody's base case, that the next move will be a rate hike. But, ultimately we'll do what we think is the right thing. But that's not where people's expectations are right now.
Victoria.
Fed do a rate check last week?
Hi, Victoria Guida with Politico. I wanted to ask, you've talked in the past about concerns about the U.S. fiscal trajectory, and we've seen in the Japanese bond market a lot of turmoil recently, in part due to concerns over their fiscal and long-term economic outlook.
Yeah.
So do you worry that the U.S. could at some point find itself in a similar situation to Japan, whether for fiscal or demographic reasons?
You know, over time, you've seen that U.S. rates have remained they haven't moved a lot.
I'm surprised he's answering. This is a great question. This is what's happening with Japan right now. Their borrowing costs are going fucking hockey stick up. People don't trust them. They don't think they can pay it back. Their debt's insane. Their demographics are terrible. They're doing a bunch of stimulus. There's not a worthy creditor.
Really for a while, but they haven't moved a lot because of what's been happening in Japan. So it's more of an over time thing. The U.S. federal budget deficit is, uncontroversially on an unsustainable path.
Yeah.
The level of debt is not unsustainable. It's very much sustainable, but the path is unsustainable.
Yeah.
And the sooner we work on it, the better. But right now we're running a very large deficit at essentially full employment, and so the fiscal picture needs to be addressed, and it's not really being addressed. So that's important. I'm not in any way connecting it to some sort of near-term market event, but ultimately it's something we'll have to deal with, and that in the end game, that's where you wind up, is in some kind of a difficult thing. But that's not where we are. It's not where Japan is either, but it's certainly not where we are right now.
It is where Japan is. He knows it. He kind of backtracked a bit. Yeah, it's the end game. Yeah, Japan is the canary in the coal mine. Japan's in the end game, and we can't get there. But he doesn't sound confident that we're going to get off this fucking fiscal path of spending massive deficits.
Does it reduce the effect of your rate cuts that longer-term rates have overall not really budged that much?
I wouldn't say that. The thing is, technically, higher longer-term rates means less accommodative financial conditions. But remember, many things move longer-term rates. It's not mostly what happens on the short end. There can be effects of longer-term rates from moving our policy around, but it's much more assessments of the fiscal path and fiscal policies and risks and things like that move the 10-year around. You can look back at and find periods where we've been very actively moving the policy rate over the course of a year, and over the course of that year, the 10-year is exactly where it started. So there's not a tight link between 10-year rates and the overnight rate.
Yep.
Elizabeth. Thanks so much, Elizabeth Schulze with ABC News. Republican Senator Tom Tillis, who sits on the Senate Banking Committee, said he will block any Fed nominee, including the chair, until this investigation into you is resolved. Do you support this move by the senator, and what conversations have you had with the senator?
I've got nothing for you on that.
More broadly, what would happen to American households if the Federal Reserve loses its ability to operate independent from politics?
So really, the point of independence is not to protect policymakers or anything like that. It just is that every advanced economy democracy in the world has come around to this common practice. It's just an institutional arrangement that has served the people well, and that is to have a separation between to not have direct elected official control over the setting of monetary policy. And the reason is that monetary policy can be used, through an election cycle to affect the economy in a way that will be politically worthwhile. So I'm not talking about the U.S. context. This is every advanced economy democracy of any size. So it's a good practice. It's pretty much everywhere among countries that look at all like the United States.
She someone said it. She kind of did a good trick there. She started with an impossible question to answer, and then hit him with a follow-up that was like just enough that he answered. That was kind of sick. That was kind of like a 1-2, She lowered it down just into the right range. Very well done. Very bad cop, kind of bad cop. Anyway, his answer is real. The reason you keep the central bank independent is because politicians will use it to help their popularity and not necessarily do the right thing. And lowering rates help their popularity, so they'll always want to do that. That's why they have to be independent.
And I think if you lose that, it's, first of all, it will be hard to restore the credibility of the institution if people lose their faith that we're making decisions, only on the basis of our assessment of what's best for everyone, for the wide public, rather than trying to benefit one group or another. If you lose that, it's going to be hard to retain it. And we haven't lost it. I don't believe we will. I certainly hope we won't. But it's very important, and the reason it's important is that it's enabled central banks generally not to be perfect, but to serve the public well.
You're confident it can maintain that independence at this point?
Yes. I mean, I'm strongly committed to that, and so are my colleagues.
Archie.
Thanks. Archie Hall from The Economist. On that sort of stabilization of the labor market question, how much do you see the weakening we saw over the past 6 months, year, as a kind of data mirage around immigration and the government shutdown and so on that's now resolved? Or how much have we seen a kind of real underlying firming up in the state of the labor market, do you think?
Well, part of it is, to your point, part of it just is that labor supply, growth in labor supply has come to essentially a halt from a fairly fast clip of growth over the last couple of years, driven by immigration, and then the halt being driven by a very sudden stop in immigration. So many outcomes were possible with that. Supply came way down. It turns out that demand for labor also came down
even further,
a very similar amount, maybe just a little bit more, which is why the unemployment rate has gone up. So I don't know whether that's a coincidence or not, but that's what's happened with that part. But if you look at other things, like, for example, just to pick a couple, the Conference Board's measure of job availability that came out, I don't know, was it yesterday or today? But, it shows, it's a survey showing that workers feel like job availability it's a very low reading. Just one reading, but it's an indication of softening. People, part-time for economic reasons, which is a category within the broader U6 category measure, has moved up significantly. So there are lots of, I could go on and on, there are lots of little places that suggest that the labor market has softened.
Yeah,
but
lots of them.
But you're right, part of payroll job softening is that both the supply and demand for labor has come down. Growth in those two have come down. So that makes it a difficult time to read the labor market. So imagine they both came down a lot to the point where there is no job growth. Is that full employment? In a sense, it is. If demand and supply are in balance, that you could say that's full employment. At the same time, do we really feel like that's a maximum employment economy? It's very challenging and quite unusual situation.
Thanks. And one more on growth.
Yeah, I mean, I'll talk about that more. It's just not, right? Even if there was like a no hire, no fire economy, as in like, there's no job growth, but people aren't doing mass layoffs. Even if that was the case, which is sort of what he's describing. The practical applications of that are like, you are desperately afraid at all times to lose your job because it's very hard to find a new one. It makes you less likely to switch to find a better job. It makes you less likely to move to a different part of the country with more productive things being worked on. You get stuck in a job that you don't like with no growth, and you are unable to get the wage and raise increase. Like that's how most people get actual wage increases, is through switching jobs. So you need some level of growth. You need some level of a new opportunity. You can't just be in a frozen economy. People will deteriorate.
Than the kind of strong growth outlook or strengthening growth outlook you're now seeing. How much of that is the fiscal stimulus we're seeing from the beautiful bill, the tax cuts, and all of that?
So you're seeing it already. You don't have much of the fiscal. I think the outlook, you're right. It's financial conditions and it's fiscal policy for 26. But you've got strong consumption that's been happening before financial conditions have been supportive, but before the fiscal effects really are shown. So essentially the economy has once again surprised us with its strength, not for the first time. Consumer spending, although it's uneven across income categories, but consumer spending.
That is such a polite way to put it. Listen, I don't blame him for these problems. Jerome Powell didn't fucking create these problems. But saying it's uneven across income categories is such a funny way to say it's all rich people. It's rich people and people on debt. That is what is spending. Where consumer spending is up. I mean, especially because his data is the data he's reading is like not from January right now. It's from like December. It's like last quarter. And, holiday season, people did spend like fucking crazy. Actually, it was kind of flat, but they spent enough to keep things going. And it was through top end of the K and debt.
Overall numbers are good. And we're benefiting from the AI build out of data centers. That's another thing we're benefiting from. But the economy overall, the growth is on a solid footing. It looks like, and it's not just those things. It's just the consumer is filling out surveys that sound really negative and then spending. So there's been a disconnect
on debt. They are screaming that they can't keep up with the cost of their lifestyle. And then in order to do that, they are borrowing. Okay. And those two things fully explain what you're talking about. It's not like some magical, we don't get it. They're saying they're really, really, really mad about the economy, but they're still spending money. Yeah, they have to spend money.
Some time between downbeat surveys and, reasonably good spending data.
Thanks, Chair Powell. Christine Romans from NBC News. You talked about how consumer spending is uneven. The president calls inflation defeated and solved. The FOMC says it's a somewhat elevated inflation. But you talked about those customer survey or those consumer sentiment surveys and public opinion polls that show that most families say the cost of living is still issue number one. What is the conversation around the table with your colleagues about how wealthier consumers seem to be driving so much of the economy?
Good question.
And why so many families still...
what's her name? This is a banger question. First banger question of the day. Christine Romans of NBC News. Interesting.
Driving so much of the economy, and why so many families still feel like they just can't make ends meet after 5 years of rising prices. What is that discussion like?
So a couple things. One, there's something to it in that we know that higher income households that tend to own real estate and tend to own stocks, securities.
They do.
And those assets have been going up in value, and increases in wealth do support spending over time. So, and that's clearly a part of the story.
Yeah.
We also know that for some time now, for a year or more, we've been hearing from retailers, for example, that serve lower income customers, whether it be food or the big box stores or anything. They're saying the same thing, which is our consumers are looking to economize. They're trading down from brands, and they're buying less, and it's changing their buying habits and that kind of thing. So we're seeing that, and that is a reality of what we're seeing. They're still consuming, but
just toss your hands up. I don't know. I mean, people are still buying shit. He's like, you're right there, bro. You're right there. Come on. Maybe you just can't say it. I mean, maybe you just can't say it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm seeing all this data. It says rich people are the ones with all the money. They're buying everything, and regular people are trading down from fucking McDonald's to bologna sandwiches. And yeah, I don't know, but they're still buying bologna.
They're feeling it in a different way. I would say more broadly on affordability, we have a vast network through the reserve banks and also through the Board of Governors, where we talk to small and large businesses and households, and so we do hear a lot about affordability, and we take that very seriously, and we take it to heart, because one of our jobs is price stability, and so the best thing we can do for people who are feeling that squeeze is to keep inflation under control.
Yes.
And, frankly, to finish the job of getting inflation back down to 2%.
You mentioned the AI build out as being a positive.
And obviously one amazing way to do that would be to get rid of tariffs, but he can't do that, so I don't blame him for that.
For economic growth this year. I wonder, as you look at the weakest year last year for job creation of a non-recession year since like 2003, are you concerned about AI maybe supplanting more entry-level work and entry-level jobs, and how does that play into what you're watching about the labor market?
So everyone, of course, is watching AI and the deployment and, trying to understand exactly what's happening. And there's a wide range of possibilities. It's hard to say. And of course, anyone who uses it.
Do they really expect Jerome Powell to give an answer, like to just know and to give an answer on what AI is going to do to the future of the labor market? He's like a 75-year-old central banker. At what is this guy going to give you the deep analysis on what? Like he just knows that shit?
Is amazed at what it can accomplish, right? So every technological wave will eliminate some jobs and create.
It's so funny if Jerome Powell did like a fucking Project 2027, whatever. Like AI is the singularity's about to kill us all. He goes all in on the. By 2026, it'll have taken over the Chinese nuclear missiles and they'll be firing.
Other jobs. And it's always been the case, if you look back, wave after wave after wave, there will be some disruption, but ultimately technology increases productivity, which is the basis for rising wages. And it may not all happen immediately, but over time, it's what enables incomes to rise over time is rising productivity. So we always ask, well, this is going to be different, is it going to be different? And we don't know. And we may, in any case, see in the short term jobs that are being eliminated by the capabilities of AI. We may see that. We just don't know what the overall effect is going to be. So how to think about it in macroeconomic terms, it's very hard. We can look at the aggregate data. We can analyze, for example, there is some connection, it appears, between the low hiring rate for recent college grads and AI, but it's not the main or only driver. You hear large companies, though, many of them saying that they either won't be hiring for some time, or that they're hiring less, or that they're laying people off, and they.
Yeah. I mean, what he's saying is right. I think it's actually a good answer, but it is this weird mix because companies have an incentive to lie, right? They have an incentive to be like, we're not hiring because of AI, because that sounds badass, versus we're not hiring because we're not seeing the level of growth that we want. But however, even companies that are growing are laying people off, like some of the big tech companies. And part of it is, and they do have internal mandates, not dual mandates, single mandates, to find a way to use AI at all costs to cut costs. So they are doing that. Whether or not it's effective at that is TBD. Although I do have to say, I think it's a really fair question whether AI will be able to replace experienced people. But there is a lot of evidence, like an entry-level coder is more of a liability than an asset. You have to spend a lot of time training them. AI is pretty much as good as them. It's tough. You need to have experience to be able to use it as a force multiplier. So it's interesting. I'm not 100% certain what happens with it, but it's seemingly hurting entry-level college-educated jobs in white-collar areas, which is a problem that you'd hopefully have a better tuned to tech administration who understood it and could get ahead of it instead of getting swamped by it.
They tend to refer to AI when they do that. So we're all watching and learning.
How do you get more experience? People experience go away? Yeah, it's a great fucking question. I'm saying it's a real problem. It's a real societal problem. What's the downstream effects? Not good.
And it could certainly have pretty significant effects on the economy, the workforce, and our society. We don't really have the tools to address the concerns that may arise, but we have a lot of people who focus on analyzing it and try to understand what the macroeconomic implications are, which is our job.
Beyi. Thank you, Chair Powell. Beyi from AFP News Agency. You mentioned earlier that on inflation, the broad expectation was for a one-time price increase and then for inflation to come down. And I was wondering, is your expectation still for inflation to start cooling in the second half of 2026? And if you could elaborate how far we are from target currently. Thank you.
So how far we are from target is, as I mentioned in my opening remarks, we had 3.0% core PCE inflation over the 12 months ending in December. And that's
from
pretty
target.
much what we had the year before. So on net, no progress. But the story behind that is modestly positive in that most of the overshoot was in goods prices, which we think is related to tariffs. And ultimately, we think those will not result in inflation as opposed to a one-time price increase. Okay, so that's where it is. In terms of, you asked, no one thinks they will, ex ante understand really clearly, precisely when this will happen. But there's an expectation that sometime in the middle quarters of the year, we'll see tariff inflation topping out. So what we do is when a tariff is put in place, we track the effect of those tariffs over a 6, 7, 8, 9 month period, and you can see for that tariff how long it takes to reach a place where it's affected the price level, and that's it. So we're getting better at that, and our estimate is that it'll be sometime in the middle of the year, but I wouldn't look for great precision in that. But we'll be able to see whether things are moving in that direction. I think we'll be able to see.
Richard Escobedo.
Thanks, Chair Powell. I'm Richard Escobedo with CBS News.
Someone said, chat, please grow up. Let him have this, okay? We're in turbulent times. If Jerome Powell's going to do 6'7" on stage, let people say 6'7". My God. There should have been a pawn market bet for it. We could have made some real money.
I want to look outside the U.S. about what's happening outside our shores and how it impacts the U.S. Canada's Prime Minister said last week...
Oh, they gave him the wrong name. That's not his name.
Happening outside our shores and how it impacts the U.S.
That was the last person.
Canada's Prime Minister said last week that there's been a rupture in the global order, and I wonder how you're thinking about geopolitical risk as it relates to the U.S. economy.
So I can't comment on that speech or statement or anything like that. Geopolitical risk for us is a lot of it is around energy, oil, and so far we haven't. For all the turmoil, oil prices have come down, as you know, and so we don't really see much.
We got oil.
Other than that, it's trade, and the trade, the economy. Our economy has pulled through pretty well, you'd have to say, given the very significant changes in trade policy. The U.S. economy has pushed right through. Partly that is that the way that what was implemented was significantly less than what was announced at the beginning. In addition, other countries didn't retaliate, and in addition, a good part of it hasn't been passed through to consumers yet. It's being taken by companies that stand between the consumer and the exporter. So that's where that is.
Kind of fun. You basically say you tacoed on half of it. Companies are hiding half of it. They're going to put the rest out. And
Jennifer.
Thank you, Chair Powell. Jennifer Schonberger with Yahoo Finance. With third quarter GDP growing at 4.4% and the fourth quarter expected to have a 5 handle on it.
Dude, Jennifer Schonberger. So she had a question in one of our previous reacts that was fire, and we gave her question of the day or whatever. And then someone sent me that she also is a musical artist. She does like financial news, and then also art. She has like an album. I'm not kidding. Jennifer Schonberger has an album and then also does part-time financial journalism for Yahoo. It's like she's a Renaissance woman. Let's play her track. Jennifer Schonberger album. Oh, but she does it under the name Jennifer Alexis. Dude, look how crazy this is. Let's listen to Saturday Night.
Saturday night, I feel like falling in love. I'm searching for that spark of mystery and magic. Something I can't forget. I'm starry-eyed, dancing in the...
Now imagine that, and then listen to this question.
as to what the Atlanta Fed is predicting. At a time when you had a government shutdown and we thought that was going to shave off some growth, you've also got the fiscal tailwinds you've talked about, big tax refunds coming, potential tariff dividend. How could you cut rates and not spur inflation in that environment?
Dude, how crazy is that? What a world, dude. That's kind of fire. That's low-key fire.
Well,
wait, I gotta listen to your question. I was memeing. That sounds like a good question. What was the question again?
The government shutdown, and we thought that was going to shave off some growth. You've also got the fiscal tailwinds you've talked about, big tax refunds coming, potential tariff dividend. How could you cut rates and not spur inflation in that environment?
Good question. Good question.
Well, we didn't cut rates today, but it depends on how fast potential output is growing, right? I'm just asking in principle. I'm not saying this is what's happening, but there's growth.
It is a funny response. It's like her question was written assuming they would cut rates today. And he's like, "Well, we didn't. We didn't."
And there's how fast the potential is growing. And at a time of high productivity growth, potential output is rising. So it really matters whether potential output is growing as fast as actual output. And it would matter over time. The numbers you cite were for quarters, and quarterly GDP is, you need to look at 12 months because quarterly GDP can be very lumpy. GDP was negative in the first quarter last year. So the overall, over the year, the numbers were nothing like that. It was more in the mid-twos for the year.
And how do you explain the divide right now between strong economic growth and the job market? Is it productivity that's filling the gap? And is productivity being driven by AI at this point?
Tough to say.
There has been, you're right, there has been a divide of solid growth, but what looked like a weakening labor market. And that can be explained by rising productivity. But I would say we do see signs of certainly of the unemployment rate stabilizing. So it may be we're seeing the beginning of the resolution of those two things. Also, as you probably know, the lore is that when GDP and the labor market get into an argument, in the end, the labor market data is more reliable. GDP data is just very hard to collect and understand.
Damn, hit with the lore. And he also hit with some fucking true facts from the lore, which is that if the GDP, which looks like things are all good, and the labor market, which is like, whoa, this is kind of weak, get into an argument, the labor market generally wins because it's more honest, it's more accurate. GDP data is very, I'm not patriotic here, but I think I have a video where I crashed out at a Reddit post like 2 years ago. And I went through all of the GDP numbers from 2007 and what they originally were and what they got revised to. Because it looked like we were in a fucking boom time. It turned out to be the Great Recession. Like, if you go through the numbers in 08, 09, it's like the GDP prints at 4%. Oh, revised down to 2. Oh, revised down to -1. Oh, revised down to -3. It's like, bro, like, this has already happened multiple times. So the idea that you can go, oh, GDP is good, that's it, is insane. It's an insane thing to say. And so I'm glad that Powell said this, because it's true. Like, you trust the labor market more. People's real experience about whether or not they're finding jobs is a better indicator of whether the economy is healthy than the GDP number.
But nonetheless, I think we may be seeing that tension resolving a little bit. Too soon to say with any confidence, though.
Too many questions today. How much is left? Oh, my God. Okay.
Matt Egan with CNN. Chair Powell, after today, you have 2 meetings left as Fed chair. You've obviously experienced a lot during your time as Fed chair, served under multiple presidents. I'm wondering what advice you have for whoever your successor might be.
Okay. Come on, Powell, give us
Honestly, I'd say a couple of things. One is stay out of elected politics. Don't get pulled into elected politics. Don't do it. And that's another thing. Well, another is our window into democratic accountability is Congress. And it's not a passive burden for us to go to Congress and talk to people. It's an affirmative, regular obligation. If you want democratic legitimacy, you earn it by your interactions with our elected overseers. And so it's something you need to work hard at, and I have worked hard at it. So, and the last thing is, it's easy to criticize government institutions so many ways. I will tell whoever it is, you're about to meet the most qualified group of people you not only have ever worked with, you will ever work with. And when you meet Fed
what
staff,
a leader.
and not everybody's perfect, but there isn't a better cadre of professionals more dedicated to the public well-being than work at the Fed.
Thanks for that answer. If I may follow up, as I'm sure you've noticed, gold and silver prices have experienced historic gains of late. And I'm wondering how much attention, if any, you pay to those moves and what message.
I do want to say something. This is just I just got to say it. I did the numbers yesterday. I made more money on gold last year than on content. So all the work I did making a video every fucking day, all the fucking game we launched, that's fucked up. I didn't do any, there's no labor in clicking the gold button. That's crazy. That is crazy. Someone asked me and I checked and I was like, I did the math. That's crazy. That is not appropriate. That isn't appropriate given how much work went into the content side.
You may take from these significant price increases we've seen for precious metals.
Don't take much message macroeconomically. The argument can be made that we're losing credibility or something. It's simply not the case. If you look at where inflation expectations are, our credibility is right where it needs to be. So we look at those things. We don't get spun up over particular asset price changes, although we do monitor them, of course.
Nicole, for the last question.
Hi, Nicole Goodkind-Barron's. Some prominent critics have charged that the Fed's economic models are somewhat backward-looking, but should be more forward-looking, incorporating things like productivity increases from AI. How do you incorporate current and future developments into your analysis and decision-making, and do you have an answer to those critics?
Yeah, so by and large, those criticisms,
last name is too complicated.
As somebody on the inside, they just don't make sense, and I'll tell you why. Every FOMC participant writes down a forecast every quarter, right? The summary of economic projections, and that's the basis for how we think about the economy. So,
what up, Maisie?
The other thing is,
Maisie, you, me, Jerome Powell, blunt rotation. What do you think? Just 3 bad bitches. You know what I'm saying? Just fucking, and we'll talk that shit, No phones. We just talk that shit. We let people know. There's some gossip. There's some tea. Nightmarish for you. I get so paranoid. Just Maisie paranoid crashing out off one blunt with Jerome Powell.
What an economic model can do is it can grind up all the data for the last number of years, 50 years, let's say, and it can identify what are the relationships between variables A, B, C, D, and all that kind of thing. And it can tell you if you change one of those variables, this is what should happen in the macroeconomy. That's just the way it works. However, the structure of the macroeconomy is constantly changing. For example, we hadn't had a pandemic in 100 years. It wasn't in the model. And we knew it from the very beginning. It was not in the model. A trade war of this scope, we'd never had that in 100 years. And so there's great uncertainty at different
turning
points.
Type shit, huh?
Another thing I'll say is, when it comes to, technological developments that.
So you'd say like our models are not accurately equipped for the post-COVID spending boom, the arrival of an insane technology, AI, and what that can mean, a massive global trade war, all of these happening all at once. Does that make it impossible for the models to accurately
raise potential output, some kind of technological revolution like happened in the 90s here and like maybe happening now with AI. We're all over that. And, everyone studies those periods and, we're very clear-eyed about the possibility that this higher productivity may persist and also that it may not. We're not, no one's sitting here unaware of the possibility of higher productivity. We've been talking about it for 3 years. It long predates the current situation. It's been going on for 5 or 6 years. We've had productivity higher. We've been talking about it that whole time. So it's very much on our minds, and we are well aware that higher productivity means higher potential output, and it changes the way you think about potentially inflation, growth, labor market, and all those things. That's all in our models. I mean, if it's just a question of using better models, bring them on. Where are they? We'll take them. But I think, we certainly are in contact with anybody who does economic modeling, and we're always looking to do better at that. But that's how I think about that.
And just a quick follow-up. We've been talking a lot about tariffs and passing through, and we've been talking a lot about them for the past few months. The trade landscape is still in a constant state of flux. Announcements, threats, negotiations, they're all frequently changing. So I'm wondering how you actually track these, what data or channels are most critical to follow this in real time.
Trade?
Truth Social.
Yeah, the impact of tariffs and how they're changing.
Truth Social.
Yeah, I think our staff has done a really nice job on that, and they've kind of put it together in real time. So as I mentioned, a tariff gets put in place. You can pretty much track its effects on pricing and on everything. And so you build a model up from all of the tariffs. At the beginning, it was very much of a forecast. Now it's every cycle that goes by, it becomes more informed by actual data. And our forecasts were not far off. What changed was, as I think I said earlier, what was implemented was smaller than what was announced. In addition, we didn't see retaliation internationally, and I think people did generally expect that because we saw that in the past, and that really mattered too. And then the other thing is that pass-through didn't know how fast that was going to be to consumers, didn't know how much exporters would take, how much companies in the middle would take, and how much the consumer would take. And it turns out it's a lot of companies in the middle who, by the way, are pretty strongly committed to passing the rest of it through, which is one of the reasons why we need to keep our eye on inflation and not declare victory prematurely.
Actually, super well said. Great answer. Damn. Good question, too.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Damn, that was a longer one than usual, but he's going to be gone so soon. Every minute we get with Jerome on this collective mandate that we're all along with him. My dream one day to interview Jerome Powell on Lemonade Stand, and it's me, Doug, Aiden, and Jerome Powell at a restaurant, and we're in 2 tables, and it's a literal dual mandate. That's my dream. That is my dream. Okay. Actually, we'll get Gavin Newsom instead of Aiden. Aiden's more of a guest than a. Anyway, interesting. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for the subs. Very interesting FOMC meeting. They did hold rates steady, which was that's a choice. It is saying something. He didn't cut. Sandwich, thank you for the tier 1. Swipey D, thank you for the 22 months. Guys, hey, Big A, due to you and your financial presentations, I managed to get an internship in a corporate banking. I just want to thank you. You're the biggest. You're the biggest. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Congratulations, by the way. That's awesome. Not an easy time to be getting a job, and that's a cool start. Lord Rio, thank you for the 10 months. Okita, thank you for the prime. Definitely interesting that he held steady. I know Trump's pissed. The biggest thing I'm happy about is that Trump's pissed about it. Just, I know Trump's cooking up a Truth Social today about how fucking mad he's at Jerome Powell for not cutting. Again, the midterms are tick-tock this fucking year. They're coming up. And it takes time, even if you cut rates, for that to trickle out into the economy, to juice it in the short term. And Trump would very much like to cut rates to the bone. He would like it to be 1% right now. It's more like 3.75. He would like to cut it to the bone so that he could try to juice it by the time midterms roll around. So every month or every 2 months, we don't have this meeting and we don't cut it down, is less time he has to do that. Even if he gets the fucking perfect puppet in May, they can't do they can't do a double jumbo rate cut. They're going to cut maximum half a point each time. So I think it'll be too late. I guess never say never. It would not surprise me if literally Trump in a mustache is the Federal Reserve guy. He comes in and cuts fucking 3%. I would not like that. Nothing can surprise me anymore. Nothing surprises me anymore, but that would be something. They should put Rick Grimes in charge. Now, I'm no expert, but is Rick Grimes the guy from The Walking Dead? The character, not the actor, but the character Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead should be in charge because he is, quote, a sexy man. Not 100% certain of his qualifications. What does he know about interest rates? What does he know about bond prices? He's got a cool gun. And he shoots zombies in the head. How would the puppet decide when it's the whole group in the Fed? Yeah, this is, of course, a fair question. I'll talk about this today. The big question mark is whether or not Jerome even stays on the board. Normally, he would not. Normally, he would not do that. He might be the shadow Fed chair and join. And if he doesn't stay on, historically, the Fed chair has a lot of sway. Even if you'd think people would vote a different way against their wishes, like whatever they say usually ends up being the thing. That's just the way it is. So, what happens when a big enough chunk of the bottom end of the K can no longer afford to pay for anything and can't pay down their debt as well? It's the big fucking question, isn't it? That is the big question. Because right now, people at the bottom end are fucking struggling. They're in jobs. If they have a job, they're in a job they don't like. They'd like to trade to a different job, and they can't find another one. So they're staying in jobs they don't like. Or if they're hunting for jobs, they can't fucking find one, especially one that matches either their qualifications or their degree, their experience. So they're pissed. A lot of them are having to do gig work. A lot of them are having to do, Uber, Lyft, fucking Instacart, etc., which is not a long-term financial plan. In order to maintain their spending, a lot of them are having to use debt, which is like buy now, pay later, credit card, fucking HELOCs on your home loan, like all this stuff. That's what's going on for regular people. So all of that can muddle along until the debt becomes unaffordable. And rising defaults would say that's sooner rather than later, but I can't give you an answer on that. I'm not Bill Moreland. But the idea would be that regular people are stretching themselves on credit cards and debt and will eventually have to default. And that's when that impacts the top end of the K, right? Because the debt keeps things going until they can't pay it. Defaults would be the big thing. Do you think you and Ari play Minecraft, or is that for Zoomer babies? I've played it. Ari's never played it. This is why Warren Buffett needs to make another season of Secret Millionaires Club. It should be Secret Billionaires Club, by the way, if Warren Buffett is running it. Kind of cringe for... When will you publish 25 celebrations with Ludwig, etc.? What do you mean publish it? I'm kind of just waiting. I might do a video on the results and everything, but we were supposed to have Ludwig do his 5K, which I think he said he's going to do, but not in the actual Wall Street. He's going to do it like He's just going to go to the Super Bowl and then run around the Super Bowl. That's his fucking, but at least he's going to run. So, I'm kind of waiting for that. We might do one. I don't know about in here. We might do a 2026 stock game in the Lemonade Stand Discord. We might do something like that. I think there's a attempt to work on that. And then the winners would get some kind of prize or something. Is something we're thinking about doing. I'd like to get a crew together. I'd like to get Squeaks or something and do another. I'd run back of last year. It was fun. It was fun to watch, fun to follow. I think it's going to be a very interesting year for the stock market, so it might be fun to do some crazy picks. But I'm really not focusing too much on content until I'm back, which is February 1st, which is in 4 days. God damn, that's coming up quick. I got my dentist appointment. Fuck yeah. Let's go. And I have this business appointment, and those two things would be tomorrow and Friday. And I'll have finished my main goals. For this January, the big things I had to get done. You mentioned on the pod how in the past, when the president controls the Fed, it led to massive inflation because they just cut rates like crazy. Why did the rest of the Fed let that happen if it requires a vote? The example I mentioned was Arthur Burns and Nixon back in the day. And like I said, when the Fed, I just haven't seen examples of the vote overruling the Fed chair. Whoever the chair is kind of just wins the vote. I mean, it is a vote, but whatever they say, they're leading the discussion. I don't know what it is, but like, if the Fed chair is like, we need to cut rates, usually people will vote to cut rates. That's the fucking, I think there's a risk that if they overrule the Fed chair, then it would send a bad signal. Hierarchy in career? Yeah, I don't know. Fanny Door, thank you. That's very kind of you. Have you read Liar's Poker? My recommendation for the book club. It's really good. Based on the creation of mortgage-backed securities, based on a true story. I haven't. I'll definitely check it out. But I mean, I've read a lot of books about 07, right? Mortgage-backed securities. Great Recession. Like, I'd like to read about different eras of financial fraud than just the one we all talk about. 07. Talked a lot about inaccurate data for employment. Does tax season help to have better results? People declare revenue. Yeah, they get more accurate data end of year. And that's when they revise things down. I think it's associated with taxes, yeah. How do you feel about gold price? I'm probably going to take some risk off, yeah. It's like so vertical, dude. It's not that I don't, none of my core reasons for buying it have changed. Central bank demand is insane. Debasement of the US dollar, stability during inflation, yada, yada, yada. But there's there's a really fun way to describe it, which is like, sometimes people buy things for fear reasons. And sometimes people buy things for greed reasons. And right now, people are buying gold and silver for both. So it's causing some insane moves. And you always got to be aware when like random everyday people are buying this shit for greed reasons because line go up, so it'll always go up. It's I always get nervous. That's never something I want to be super exposed to. It should, this shit shouldn't be moving 12% in a day, 20%. It's just not, that's not normal. Even if my thesis is like real assets. I at least talked my best buddy to stop punting into crypto and do gold. Yeah, but this is like exactly what I'm talking about. When like the crypto guy's like, oh, I'm the gold guy now. Then I'm like, oh, wait. Oof. Okay. See, that guy is not a guy I trust. You know what I'm saying? That's like that. What about NFTs? I got to flip back in NFTs. Hey, Big A, I've been listening to your content in the background for the last year, VODs and the European extras. Thank you for a person that can cover most news with a smile and a joke and help me be open to what's going on in the world. That's super great. Thank you. Peaceful Barrett, thank you for your kind message. I really appreciate that. It is a crazy time. It is a crazy time. Did you see this? You're linking me. What is this? Oh, I did see this. We're tanking. We're tanking, fellas. We're going for a better draft pick. Country's reputation in 2025. Yikes. We dropped 18 spots. We're down there. Russia, Iran, Iraq, China, Pakistan, Israel. That's a real fucking that's a real fucking lineup. We're about to join them. We're down there we're down there with Kuwait and Kazakhstan. Well, our draft pick's going to be crazy. Up at the top is just fucking Aiden's white paradises, dude. Switzerland, Norway, Sweden. Switzerland, number one, the best performing currency in the world. Everyone who held their savings in Swiss franc can buy so much more. Japan moved up? Yeah, well, this is reputation, not economy. Japan moved up. People like Japan. People have been visiting. Japan's tourism been going crazy. Everyone I fucking know is like, I can't find a job, so I'm going to Japan. Doing a Japan trip. Yeah, people are going to Japan all over, bro. Canada moved up? Damn, number 2? Whoa, Canada top 2? I didn't see that. Holy. Stop the steal, dude. I mean, this only says so much, right? It means something, but it's not economy. The UK flat at 18. I really would like to talk more about the UK, but it's almost like doesn't matter. You guys got all these interesting stories going on and all these problems, but like they're less and less connected. They're not even part of EU anymore, so it's like it's just this island. Where's the US? Oh, we just shut. People join in the first 18 seconds and then right here, dude, it's fucking collapsed. 18 spot drop. I think the biggest drop of the year. I don't see anything. Algeria did. That's a pretty significant rise. Why did Algeria have a positive 2025? Hottest country in the world. Oh. Martha Stewart reacts after her granddaughter calls out her over ICE silence. Speak up, Martha Stewart. Oh, this is not. I don't want. God, I hate fucking Windows. Did you see? We talked about it a bit, but Windows adding Copilot to the name, Office Copilot 365 or whatever. So embarrassing. so embarrassing. So desperate, dude. So yuck. It's like just shameful. Stop trying to make Copilot happen, bro. Did you hear about? Yeah, dude. Wizards is getting sued for printing too many Magic cards because it's diluting the value. Which I don't think they're going to win the lawsuit, but it is funny because as a Magic the Gathering player, there is like a new set all the time. It's crazy. How do you keep? You don't even get to learn the set before a new set's out. They're just doing it all the time. It's 7 sets this year. It's crazy. What do you think of Lorwyn? I mean, I did a sealed pre-release with some friends. It was fun. I had a good time. But I like people that actually like keep up and like collect and buy every set. Like it's impossibly expensive. It's not. Microsoft earnings release. How'd they do? Microsoft earnings. How did they do? It's crazy. Down 6% after hours. Why? What do they say? It's a pretty big fall. Microsoft. Microsoft earnings send the stock lower as cloud growth lacks upside. What? Interesting. There's some AI payoff concerns. Well, we'll see. This could mean nothing. Looks like a solid quarter, honestly. We'll see how tomorrow goes. Fuck you for not hiring me. You think Microsoft stock is down because they didn't hire you, Blaster Faster roster? You think that's the big... The market is saying, wait a minute, without Blaster Faster roster's expertise in the lineup, there's just little chance that... He is the key. He is the game changer. All right, well, that makes a lot of sense, honestly. You're an Atrioc chatter, and I expect that you bring a lot of value to the table. What else is going on with you guys? What's going on? I haven't been live super much. Doug mentioned? What is this?
And like if you look at, this is a direct argument from Doug, I believe, which was basically like if you look at Facebook and Google, clearly ads be banging. So like this might actually be enough to.
Oh, this is from Lemonade Stand. Per Doug. Yeah, facts. I thought it was a good argument, by the way, from Doug. It's a big question, right? Is if ChatGPT puts in ads, that could make some real money. I'm skeptic, big skeptic, but it's fair. We gotta wait and see. Have you seen the latest Megalag video with the honey scam? We watched part of it on stream. It wasn't for me, really. In that I already agree honey's a scam. Like it felt like he was taking a long time to tell me what I already knew. But I got no, I'm glad he does it. I'm glad, especially the first video that brought people up to speed on it. Hey, Big A, what sort of due diligence do you do when picking stocks? Yeah, what I do is I go to Wall Street Bets and I sort by controversial. And then I take all my net worth and I split it among the first 10 things I see. And then I close my eyes and I cross my fingers. And so far, making fat stacks. Sort of a simple system to success. Congress is dropping 6-7 jokes?
This time, all time for debate has expired. Pursuant to House Resolution 879, the previous question is ordered on the joint resolution. The question is on third reading of the joint resolution. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Third reading.
Joint resolution providing for congressional disapproval under Chapter 8 of Title 5 United States Code of the rules submitted by the Bureau of Land Management relating to National Petroleum Reserve in Alaska Integrated Activity Plan Record of Decision.
The question is on passage of the joint resolution. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. It's about 6-7. The ayes have it.
We're fucking cooked. We're fucking cooked as a nation. It's over. We're cooked as a fucking nation. It's over. Dude, in front of the American flag. Get up in there and fucking see. We're cooked. We're cooked. Put it, just fucking ring the bell, dude.
The opposed say no. It's about 6-7.
Look at his fucking stupid face. He knows what he's about to do.
Those opposed say no.
Look at his face. He got a little smirk.
It's about 6-7.
They should have booed. They should have stormed the Capitol again. They should have stormed the Capitol again. Squeaks is on it. Squeaks loves 6-7. He would. Wonder how much that made him on Kalshi. If there was a Kalshi bet on that, that's insane. My dad was saying 6-7 at poker night. I mean, it's. What's weird about 6-7 is that I've seen so many people that would normally kill it say it, and yet it lives on. I don't know. It's like it's resilient in a way that I haven't seen. It's like the U.S. economy. It's resilient. Somehow, despite all evidence to the contrary, people are still spending for the 6-7. I don't know. I don't know what it is, bro. 6-7 is the worst thing that happened to the world since World War II. So you think 9/11 not as bad as 6-7, just as an example. You think the Vietnam War is not as bad as 6-7. You think okay. It's interesting. That's an interesting take. Rwanda, Sudan. Bluey is still crushing it. What's this? Top 10 most streamed shows in 2025. Wait, I got to talk about this. Actual interesting discussion. Wait. First of all, Bluey, dominant. Grey's Anatomy, number 2. Jesus Christ. SpongeBob SquarePants, number 5. And it's the bad SpongeBob. NCIS, number 4. Oh, God. The first good show on here is Bob's Burgers. I'm surprised Bob's Burgers did that well, actually. That's pretty cool. Big Bang Theory, 32.5. Law and Order. Dude, this is some slop. Bluey, actually, I'm sorry, Bluey's good, obviously. Bluey's a good show. Although it's not. You shouldn't watch it as an adult. Childless adults should not be watching Bluey. I still stand by that. I do not think it is to the level that it should be watched there. Bob's Burgers is good though. I did want to say, bro, it has to be said. Someone's got to fucking say the truth. Despite all the hate, despite all the rhetoric, and all the natural inclination to not give Game of Thrones an inch after the terrible finale, this new show's heat. The new Game of Thrones is peak thus far. It is good. Caught. Lock me up. It's true. It is good. Maybe they'll throw it away in season 2. I wouldn't doubt it. I'm sure they can't stick the landing. It's good. It's just a good show. And it's fun too. More important than just being good. It's like a type of show I haven't seen in a minute, which is high quality, but not serious. They don't try to make it all dark and gritty and serious. And it's a fun show and a good show and a funny show. It's like, I'm impressed. I'm better than House of the Dragon for me. I mean, it's only 2 episodes in, right? But for me, it's better. Gonna be interesting to see how they ruin it. To be clear, I fully expect them to ruin it. But right now it's good. I like it a lot. I just joined. What show we talking about? Talking about Game of Thrones, new Night of the Seven Kingdoms. They're gonna run out of source material in this GG. Here's a crazy idea for HBO. Let me just give you a fucking crazy one. I'm gonna throw out a fucking loony idea. What if you make the show up until the source material is done, and then you end it? And then you end it. That would be a fucking great idea. What if you just don't try to put people who didn't write the good stuff in charge of making new crap? But then we'd make less money. Dude, what's crazy is if they had done a better job with the Game of Thrones finale, they would have made so much more money. Like they in the end, they lost generational amounts of money by making such a bad final season. Game of Thrones would have theme parks right now if that had a better ending. Game of Thrones lost all cultural relevance in like 6 months because how bad that they would be. I'd go to a Game of Thrones theme park. I'm so bad they got fired from Star Wars. They fired from Star Wars. I know. That's crazy. What if they just locked George R.R. Martin in a room with nothing but a typewriter and a bed? Dude, it's so funny. We'd give him food through the door. We leave him in there for 8 years. We open it up. He's on page 3. I've been working. I'm getting, my progress is crazy. He's had nothing else. I think Game of Thrones would have made Harry Potter a lot of money if it hadn't. Dude, I saw an article that truly chat will appreciate. Who did I send this? This one. It was the Harry Potter generation needs to grow up. And it's all just shitting on millennials, bro. God damn. What the hell? Why are we getting... That's fucking... This is underhanded. This is underhanded, dude. They had like there's like a Brittany Broski clip in here or whatever. And it was like, you're not a Ravenclaw, Carol. You're 36. I was like, oh God. Ow, why are we attacking each other on such a fucking fundamental level? Jesus Christ. Who needs this level of some of the data was interesting though, because it was like, so, like Chronicles of Narnia and Lord of the Rings and other like fantasy that was popular in a certain generation, it remained popular. But what's crazy is that Harry Potter is like literally peaks with millennials, incredible fall off with Gen Z, especially younger Gen Z. Like the older Gen Z kind of is a crossover, but it's so funny how that is it's just contained to one single generation. Because younger Gen Z don't read. I saw Kai Cenat reading, bro. He's turning it all around. Literacy's coming back. Literacy's coming back. Okay? We're going to flash forward 1 year and Gen Z, their minds are going to be massive. Gen Alpha, too. They're going to do 3 books a day. It's going to be a classic. They're going to stop scrolling. They're going to start reading all the time. Is Kai Gen Z? Bro, you think Kai Cenat's 30? 30 plus? You think Kai's not been doing that content at fucking 33? Yeah, he's Gen Z, bro. How do you even... What else? Look at Lud. Dude, it's going to be so sad when Lud's... when Lud's 39 doing like... fucking... collabs with Jason the Ween's son. Stealing his slang. Bleached hair. Roblox speedruns. With Geico, the plan is truly simple. That would be fire. That would be fire. I want to see Ludwig on like a local access TV doing like a Subaru dealership ad. Here at Stevenson Hyundai and Subaru, the plan is truly simple to get you in an affordable car at a low rate. That shit would be fire. That shit would be gas, dude. Chris Saron, thank you for the 47 months. What are you going to bleach your hair, Big A? You guys can say it. Finish the joke. He teed you up. Finish the joke. T-ball is set. You've got the bat. Crack! Right to over fucking right field. What hair? What hair could he bleach? Is that flannel from J. Crew? This flannel is from the TV show Community. I bought this flannel while we were watching Community Live because I said, that's a nice shirt. And then I Googled it and I found it and I bought it. This is the one. Jeff Winger flannel Community. Look, I'm not even joking. I'm not joking, bro. This is the same fucking. This is the same. I saw the shirt. I was like, yeah, that's a nice flannel. And I fucking snagged it right up. Oh, am I going to do best worst Super Bowl ads this year? That's actually a good idea. Shit. Win the Super Bowl this Sunday? No. February 8th. Oh, yeah, I'll definitely do it. Yeah, I'll do it. 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 Yeah, that'd be fun. Come on, we're not going to skip that. We're not going to let tough times get us down. Predictions TBD. I really would have to fucking grind. I won't do it if it's February, so. But if I don't finish this prez, it'll just turn into a slowly all at once type video later in the year. Because I did put a lot of work into it, and it is like my thoughts. It's just a good thing to do at the beginning of the year to get my thoughts on like trends. Reading the presentation about ICE. So I did a presentation. I made a 70 slide presentation about the murder of Alex Preddy, and I recorded it. We didn't have an editor for that night because it's supposed to be vacation for everybody. Like people were literally traveling. So I decided the next day, it's not that you shouldn't be angry in it, but I just think it was too angry and like not productive. And then also it said that, I think Charlie's video said perfect. I think Charlie did a great job with that video. And I think my thoughts in the Renee Good video are pretty similar. And so I tweaked the presentation to be more about like impact and what I think should happen next. And then I sort of did most of that presentation on Lemonade Stand today. It comes out today. So if I'll make a video specifically on that, I don't think so. But my thoughts are out there. They'll be out there. Oh, it's out. It's out. So there you go. But yeah, I think I saw Charlie's video. I really liked it. I think it's really simple. It's not even, if it was not such an abnormal time, it wouldn't be something I would cover. I think it's worth covering because how important it is in this country right now. But to me, it's like so open and shut. There's not even an analysis needed. I think anyone with eyes knows what happened there. And it does feel weird sometimes to do Charlie like Moist Critical. Can you send me a copy of one of your presentations? I'm trying to make something similar, but I want a template to reference. I've never seen a more transparent attempt to steal my shit for homework. Bro, I get a DM like every day on Discord or Twitter of someone being like, hey, can you send me the presentation for this video? And it's like, I know what you're trying to fucking, I know what you're trying to do, bro. Yeah, they could copy it themselves easy, which is the funny part. Do you think you can get with your FT login credits is actually expensive? Isn't there like a free or a student FT or something? I feel like nobody, the people that are younger telling me they listen to read the FT, they can't possibly be paying full price. There's got to be like a cheap version, right? People are buying the full. School libraries have it. I see. if someone else has it too, they can just give you the free link, right? The for shareable link to my company pays for FT, but they canceled it for cost cutting. Damn, if your company's cost cutting by cutting the FT subscription, be worried about HR calls. I'll just be honest with you. That's you're at the end of the road. They're tossing the fucking chairs overboard to keep the ship afloat. That's a spooky time. Archive.is. There's ways around it. That's sick. Will you go see Iron Lung in theaters? I don't even know what that is. Any advice for Cambridge rejects today? What kind of question is this? Oh, Markiplier movie. Oh! I did hear about this movie because I don't know if it'll happen, so I'm not even going to say it. But, well, I'm going to say it, but I don't think it'll happen. We were trying to see if we could get Markiplier to talk about the business side of his movie as probably an interview because Doug knows him. So there's a chance we were thinking about that. It was just a thought. I don't think we've made any progress. I think he's pretty busy, but that'd be cool because I think it's interesting. I just got accepted into Cambridge today. Any advice to rub it in on the rejects? Such a funny response. It's just funny to imagine a world where it's real and a guy needed advice on how to best rub it in. Like, I really want to rub it in, but I don't want to mess this up. Like, how do I really get it across? That's a hoot, bro. That's a hoot and a half. Did you see stuff about Trump having dementia? I heard people say it. I think, believe your own, trust your lying eyes. I think if you watch Trump 2016, I think Stans and I did this recently. We're doing something else. There's a very clear deterioration in like the quality of his speech and the coherence of his points. His 2016 energy levels and his, not that they were like incredible, like it weren't incredible speeches or anything, but there's a clear difference. So there's something to be said. He's also wearing a glove on one hand because that massive growing bruise. But you know, he'd just be fucking old. I don't know. Dementia is like a medical diagnosis that I don't know anything about. His Davos speech was fire though. Yeah, but it's like, how can you write him off when his speeches are this fire? He's like Tom Brady. He keeps the glove for the offseason. Hey, I have a question. I'm not a football guy. I don't know if you guys know this. I don't really know shit about football, even though you guys all think of me as a football expert. But I was telling Ludwig that if the Patriots are in the Super Bowl this year, doesn't that kind of make Tom Brady seem like a fraud carried by the organization? Like, if they're doing just as good without him and they're getting there, then, like, isn't he kind of like high-key carried? Isn't it kind of more of a Patriots thing? No, he's still goated. 8 out of 10 bait. I'm just wondering. I know my good friend Ludwig's a big Tom Brady fan. I wanted to ask a sincere question. Make sure my company got acquired by a PE firm mid-24, ended a 6.5-year office lease, fired the office manager last week. We're fully remote. 5 people from my department are leaving this month. Been applying a bunch of ways. Should I dip? I mean, why would you dip? You should just apply, right? Apply first, find something, then dip. Don't dip unless they make you if you don't have anything lined up. It just doesn't make sense, right? Unless you fucking hate it. But if you're fully remote, There's just no reason. Make them do the work. Also, it's easier to find a job when you have a job. That's just an unfortunate reality. You got to discuss the Melania movie bombing so hard? Do I have to? I'd like to live my whole life never discussing the Melania movie. I don't think that should even be on my fucking docket. Discussing the Melania movie is a waste of fucking time. Was anyone expecting the Melania movie it was a toss up this year between Avatar, Fire and Ash, and Melania? 6767. What, of course it's gonna flop. It was always gonna flop. There's a Melania movie. The Melania movie is entirely 100% a bribe to Trump. Amazon Studios funded it, paid for the whole thing, and is throwing, a launch party for it as a way of like getting good graces with Trump. They never expected to make money on it. It is just a way to do a favor to Trump. Brownstown, thank you for the 3 months in advance. Appreciate it. Would be kind of fire to watch it with chat. I legitimately don't think it's interesting at all. I don't know what the movie's about, but I can't imagine it's even funny bad. I think it's just horror. I think it's just like a waste of time. 69 months for Yeti Apocalypse. 69. Holy nice, dude. Nice. Yeti, how you doing? What are you gaming lately, Yeti? The title from the Times of India says it all. $40 million for the rights, $35 million marketing. It sells one ticket in UK cinemas. What a generational flop, dude. What a generational. But it's never meant to make money. They knew it going in. Is a $40 million bribe, essentially, paying for the rights. And they spend on marketing to make her feel good, and then, you get a favor. That you're gonna get a favor. Where it's just transparent. It's like Kawhi Leonard and the fucking tree planting. They didn't pay him all that money for marketing, bro. The Princess Bride also flopped. It'll gain cult following over the years. Dude, imagine Melania's like actually just a cinematic masterpiece. Imagine it's just like an incredible movie that was like ahead of its time. And over the years, they realized that it's truly. See the Pablo Torre Grizzlies thing? I saw the Pablo Torre thing where one of the NBA owners was selling sanctioned satellite equipment to Russians for money. And then that's the thing. Okay, yeah, I saw that. Yeah, Ubiquity. It's crazy because I feel like Pablo Torre doesn't. He's like an incredible journalist at this point, right? And he's like building and breaking big stories. But because his podcast is supposed to be about sports, it's like it always has the craziest tie-in back to sports. They don't talk about like he's trapped in a sports podcast. Oh, that's what I do feel like. Mm. What about Chinese general guy getting arrested for selling nuclear secrets? That, again, that's big speculation. I do want to talk about this, but I think what needs to be said about this is that nobody outside of the fucking Politburo of China knows what's happening. Every speculation you see is off of nothing. It's off of nothing. There's literally nobody that knows what's happening. The people that you're hearing this from are all incorrect. I heard he and she were having an affair. Yeah, maybe. But there's facts that we know, right? The reality that we know is that basically the entire control of the PLA, the military, is under Xi Jinping now. Like everyone else is removed. So he has sole control. Now there's theories, right? That he's like, the best evidence I saw was that, they analyzed all the different speeches that both Xi and the general had given. And it was like the general was slower on his timeline for something to be done about Taiwan. And so Xi Jinping purged him. But at the end of the day, we don't know. We do not know. Like that is the one thing I've been certain of. I read all the different ones. Nobody has any hard data. You see, it's like a bad thing. You think it's a good thing? Big A, how's the year of health going? It is doing well. It is doing well. So far, so good, bro. Year of health. Workout streams were great. We'll do another one for sure. Year of health has been good. I am not like my weight is 179 to 182 in that range every day. I wake up and I measure it, and in the morning it's like low, and then at the end of the day it's high. And I haven't gone down beneath that, so I'm in that fucking range. And so, whatever. But regardless of that, I'm playing basketball and working out daily. That's good. I'm feeling good. I've been sleeping good. So we'll see how it all holds up once I start doing videos again in February. But this is bad timing, but I heard you discuss dating in your Patreon episode. I would love to give a girl's perspective as one of your 7% female listeners. I think it's higher than that. My girlfriend says something like this. If you have Discord or Twitter, it would be interesting to have you like send out fully typed out thoughts. Because we're probably talking about this again on the lemonade stand. I would cool to bring your thoughts. I could bring the notes. Are you going to back to daily videos? We're going to hit the ground running in February. I don't know if we're going to do 100% one a day, 365 or whatever, but I mean, there's like so much to talk about, and I have been wanting to talk about it, but I've been trying to like take as much break as I can and try to finish all the fucking shit. I had this big list I made at the beginning of the year of all the things I needed to like, I've been putting off. I got through pretty much all of it. I got to do the dentist thing and I got to do the tax thing, but, talking about Twitch sponsorships? What do you mean? Is there something interesting going on with Twitch sponsorships? They suck. Is it wild that the U.S. Yeah. Who will get abs first? You or NL? Is he on the Peloton grind? Probably NL. Did you know Tayback when you were at Justin TV? Yeah. Josh Tayback? Yeah, I knew him. How do you know him? You know, yeah, he's a good guy. I think he went to oh man, this dog's his whole life story. You played Magic with him and his brother? Yeah, he's a good guy. Have you looked at a Ubisoft situation? Dude, isn't Ubisoft crumbling? I thought I saw that Ubisoft is like in last death throes. Yeah, their stock halved in 6 months. It's $1. It's about to be delisted. Oh my God. They just suspended an employee for criticizing the company without pay. Yeah, they're and it could have happened to a nicer company. As you guys know, gamers love Ubisoft top to bottom. And so this is a heartbreaking loss. I mean, to see the beloved company of Ubisoft. Dude, Ubisoft is like the ultimate example of not, how much gaming has changed post-COVID, how much live service is dominated, how much indie has risen to fill the gap of like, it's like gaming now is 8 massive games that are live service and everyone plays constantly. And then everything else is like short form indie. And Ubisoft is caught in the middle and destroyed. Yeah, AAA doesn't really exist. Like big box $60 AAA that you buy, it doesn't. I'm not going to play Arc Raiders, but Arc Raiders is an example. Like Arc Raiders is doing. Oh, we can watch the Dunkey Highguard video. I don't know much about Highguard. I know it looked kind of sloppy, but I saw that it didn't have Concord numbers. It's doing pretty well, right? So I don't know what it means.
Highguard is.
Let's try it.
Here, and Highguard is forever.
Welcome to Highguard.
The reviews were terrible, though. I did see the reviews. And I watched Nick Yingling play it at the fucking Mogul office. And it looked to me like generic slop. But all this shit looks like that to me, bro. I am the least hero shooter 5-on-5 person. It's just not, that's not, or 3-on-3 in this game, right?
It is a game that will last forever, a game whose popularity will never fade, unlike Concord, which shut down 2 weeks after it came out. This Concord, nah. This Highguard, they already have a year-long plan for this game.
Oh, wow.
So it's
going
to be out for at least a month before they take this down. Listen, the problem with Concord was that it was $40. Gamers don't want to pay $40 for a super generic multiplayer shooter these days, except for Arc Raiders, which sold 10 billion copies in Battlefield 6 sold 6 trillion copies, and that was $60 actually. The problem with Concord was simple. It was too much like Marvel, and it was too much like Overwatch. But then a month later, the biggest game was Marvel Rivals, which was just Overwatch with Marvel characters. So the problem with Concord was nobody likes Concord. With Highguard, they're messing up again. Internet already figured this out.
Yeah.
Highguard is just Overwatch. See what they did? Except this Overwatch has...
That's actually...
Guard is just Overwatch.
That's actually fucking true. Holy. Wait a fucking minute. That is a truly fucking lame name. Truth Nuke. They busted out this thesaurus. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why every fucking ex-Riot, ex-Blizzard dev is like, you know what I'm going to make? An Overwatch clone. Is it going to be even equal to Overwatch? No, it's going to be slightly worse. The characters and the look is going to be slightly worse, and Overwatch itself is already dying. What's the fucking point?
See what they did? Except this Overwatch has horses, like paladins. Remember that is a game? And Overwatch 2 is a game too. Remember that is a game? But Jeff said this was gonna be really good.
I've played it, and after you see this,
it has
insanely
mining?
fun to see, fun to play, as you saw in that trailer.
Okay, and he doesn't just say
It has
that about every
mining?
game that comes out. Well, actually, he does, though. He literally says that every game will be good.
What you're about to see is running completely in real time and Unreal. And I cannot wait to play it.
So let's play this high chord and see why this game is so highly regarded before they take it down tomorrow. Whoa! Highguard episode 1? Wait, this is just episode 1?
Episode 1.
To Highguard.
Welcome to Headwall. Let's get
I thought this was Highguard. Did I get the wrong game again? Is this a Concord?
Dude, it's funny because I feel like, not that Jeff Keighley doesn't deserve some good-natured ribbing over this, but I feel like he always glazes every game, but this one he is getting way more shit. For some reason, people are like pissed at Jeff. It's like, bro, he's not going to be like, this next game looks like shit. He's not gonna. I don't know. It's like, what do you expect the guy to do? It's an award show where they fucking reveal a game. Is he be like, I know you guys are expecting Half-Life 3, but instead I have a real stinker for you.
Scenario. Oh, let's check out the water. Let's check out how AAA this is.
Wow.
Oh, so no interaction whatsoever with the water at all. I don't have any kind of reflection in the water. I don't know what that white orb is. I don't know what that is going off of.
I'm Trader Flynn. Just call me Flynn. First step's just ahead. See what you're made of.
All right, Flynn.
Whoa, back later.
Wait, what happened?
Why is there a Furby?
What is this? Why did you... Wait, I want to shoot these birds. Can you shoot the birds? I don't know, man. I don't know about this Highguard, man. Could you shoot the birds in Concord? I could never install it, actually.
So once you're out there, you'll find good weapons.
Wow. Loot. Oh, yeah, loot.
Watch it, buddy. I don't appreciate that.
No?
Wait a minute.
It's high noon.
Loot with rarity? Now we're cooking.
It's dangerous out there. Folks like us don't quite go away, now do we? Let's see what power you've really got. I'll meet you over there.
Okay.
I'm out of it.
That's the blue one.
Okay.
Are you sure? That's the red one.
Heads up, Warden. Sorry about this.
I love this part.
Hey!
Sorry about that one, mate.
Well, I did shoot this guy like 80 times already, so I guess... Training complete.
All right, let's see the game.
One of the greatest Highguard players and one of the best Concord players of all time. Your connection to Highguard has been lost. Yes!
Welcome to Highguard.
Who am I? My name is Boss Binka. I was one of the best Concord players. Now, the entire Concord community is migrating to this game.
Okay.
Literally hundreds of players. Condor? That's like Concord, kind of.
Okay.
Maybe I should be Condor.
Getting on my mount. Riding out.
It's good that she told me that.
Does everyone have a horse?
I'm playing with a blindfold on. Check out how good I am at games. I'm gonna snipe this guy while on a horse. Check this.
Everyone's got a different...
Hold
that's kind
still.
of something.
I lost.
We've got baddies nearby.
Baddies, huh? You haven't even seen Bad yet.
Wait, the dialogue is very that Mario parody. It's very focus, Em. Yeah.
Check out how bad I am at this stupid game. I can't hit anything. Is that a turbo blast? Okay, I like that. A horse turbo blast.
That a turbo?
This is like a spinning brute that just spins in circles. I gotta kill Jeff was right. Jeff was right about Mind's Eye. I'm super good at this game, so that means the game is super good. Yeah, never mind. I'm going back to Concord. No, wait, I can't.
Bad news.
We deleted Highguard. Check this.
Okay.
Here we go.
Oh.
The thing that I heard that like kind of settles it for me is people that have played it say it's fun with friends, which just means nothing, which usually means it's bad. Because everything's fun with friends. Every game is fun with friends. You pop into any game, good or bad, you play with friends. But if it's fun with friends, what that really means is like, I'll never grind it myself. I'll never like jump in and do the ladder, which means the ladder will die, which means the fucking ranked will die, which means you know what I'm saying? I just don't think I don't know.
Man, I'm so good at this. I love Jeff and Highguard and Discord. And I love Mind's Eye and Arc Raiders and Smeagol. Oh. Jeff, you just lost one of your biggest fans.
Are there Tugans? Is there a Tugans show?
There's Condor as a character.
All right. No!
My connection to Highguard has been lost.
I just got kicked out.
Well, no, I actually booted you guys out so I could play.
It can only have 3 players on it once.
League and Dota with friends are fucking miserable. That's not true. League with friends is fun, but obviously with the wrong friend could be miserable. You could definitely be the guy that ruins League with friends by taking it too seriously. That's 100% true. But League with friends is overall fun. People log on every day to this day and they play ARAM with friends and have a good time. People still do that. I do think you can get I mean, if you lose, you log in the league and you guys lose 3 games straight, the vibes aren't going to be great.
Your boot disabled, please enable and restart game. What the fuck does that mean?
You got to go into your BIOS.
I have to go into my computer's BIOS?
Yeah, you gotta do something in the BIOS to start secure boot.
You have to put secure boot on your BIOS.
No, is this a troll? Is this a troll that's happening to me?
No, it's real. Yeah, you gotta enable the high guard.
Oh my god.
Just like
people take heroin every day. What of it? Heroin with friends is fun. Everyone knows that. All right, I think I get this game sucks.
look up how to enable secure boot and just follow the directions.
But it's different depending on what company makes your motherboard.
I don't know who makes my motherboard.
Might have been Jeff. Open your computer and there should be a chip on your motherboard and it just says Highguard mode and switch that to high.
I'm reading a fucking manual on how I do this first.
Oh, you get war chest. It's like Counter-Strike.
Right, let's go!
I'm starting the training grounds.
The first
war
one's
chest.
Welcome to Highguard.
Welcome to Highguard. All right, just do the training mode. Do the training mode.
I already did. I already completed the training.
How'd you do that?
I'm already spending money.
Explore
you didn't
it?
even play a match yet.
I did. I played one match. Now I'm spending a ton of money.
even-
Beast Lord.
Oh my
Beast Lord.
God.
$1,800. Gotta go for it.
Mr. Beast?
Naked Beast Lord.
What is this, like a battle royale or?
It's like 3v3 Concord Strike.
No, don't get legendary skins. That sounds like a lot of money.
The horse bows, Fluff. The horse bows. I gotta go for it.
Dude.
$100.
All right, wait a minute.
$100.
Holy shit. We used to riot as gamers when horse armor cost $2. What is this, 1800? So now it's fucking $15 for a horse emote? For your horse to bow is $15? Bro, that's Silk Song is the same price. You could get a 7-year masterpiece, or you could have your horse bow in fucking Concord 2. What the fuck is happening?
The horse bows, Fluff. The horse bows. I gotta go for it. $100.
All right, wait a minute.
$100.
That's 100 well spent. Not gonna lie.
I just went through the annals of my fucking computer, and I don't know what I did. I think I did something really bad. Welcome
Wait,
to Highguard,
recommended?
mate.
I'm gonna go against the grain and pick the King's Lair. That looks
That's
like
not
Tatooine.
recommended.
I don't care anymore.
Look, you stopped caring a long time ago. The
King's
bad
Lair.
guys are called baddies.
Okay, Betty's here. Betty's here.
There's a baddie. Baddie by the street.
One down.
Baddie
One
down,
down.
baddie down. I'm dead.
Here's what I'll say watching this game is that a huge portion of all consumable content right now is designed to keep your brain in a semi lucid state of slush while you're doing 3 things at once, so you don't have to think about anything you have to do. I feel like this could probably do that just as good as anything else. I think people could probably boot this game up while having a fucking YouTube video playing on the other monitor while listening to a podcast while having their phone. And they're just kind of slopping through it because they don't want to think about schoolwork or homework or job hunting or whatever. And like this stream, brother, if I'm doing that for you, I'm making it harder. Because every 2 seconds, you got to hear me fucking bring back reality. In the corner of your ear. You're trying to ignore this shit, and I'm bringing it up. So I guess, I mean, yeah, put me on, but I'm gonna fucking needle it.
I got Goody down.
Oh, baddie. That's a baddie. I'm moving in on this baddie. I'm out of the play area. I left the play area.
What the fuck did you do?
I think I'm turning from a goodie into a baddie. There's 3 different types of money. There's silver money, purple money, and then Keeley coin. Keeley coin gets you like the best stuff. Ooh, just got a Dwizzle kill, baby. Jeff just sent me 7 Keeley coins in the mail.
You gotta get Keeley coin.
Oh, I shot him off the horse. I'm like a high guardian of the galaxy.
This is seeming like the game of the millennium.
It's like the best game that's coming out today. Oh, I just guarded something way up high on the map. Can I get some coin, Jeff?
I have the shield breaker.
I got the Jeff Slayer.
Holy.
My horse is shot. Flop, help.
Grenade out.
Flop, save me.
I'm guarding. What the fuck am I doing?
Did you not attend Jeff's lecture about this?
Why am I waving?
Why is your horse sliding like that too?
Oh yeah, that's good. That's a good feature. That Jeff left it in there for us. Paladin. It's like Paladins. Vanguard. It's like Vanguard and Highguard and Conguard.
Jason, I don't like this game.
They named all the guns after other failed games in the same genre.
Flop, it's still episode 1. Episode 2 is where Jeff unleashes the full power of the Keeley coin. That's when the game starts getting good. Flop, you were right. Jeff sucks.
Jeff, I trusted you.
This is a 60-hour shootout. Jeff.
I mean, I get it. This game looks like ass. I want to see if he ends on anything.
Highguard. Killed him. Good kill. Good game. Check this out. Zipline gun. I broke every bone in my body. I should have never tried to have fun in Highguard.
This game is literally the worst piece of shit I've ever played in my whole life. Not gonna lie.
What would you give it out of 10?
9. 9.5.
All right, Beast. Beast. Cinema. I mean, excellent. Truly excellent. Truly fucking excellent. Resident Evil 9 Requiem, 12 minutes, new gameplay. I mean, I can watch a little bit of it, but I actually want to play this game. I love the last 2 REs.
We need to leave immediately.
What's going on?
I don't know what's happening. Some kind of
Yeah,
mass
Leon.
hysteria. The hospital is on lockdown.
Don't make that face. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh my God! Oh my God! Jesus Christ! First of all. Okay, let's do some threat assessment here. Leon, you've seen zombies before. Guy comes in looking like this, and you have a gun, and he's holding a chainsaw, and you do nothing until she is literally ripped up. What are we talking about? He just watched. He was aura farming. That's... Oh, now he does something.
Take 1 second opinion.
Bro's dropping quips. Bro, she got fucking chainsawed. Right in front of you. You did nothing. And now you're dropping fucking millennial quips. Sharpening your blade right in front of the guy after you knock the chainsaw away. He's fucking aura farming. Uh-oh. Okay, I think he's got a problem with women. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. Runs past the guy trying to kill him with a chainsaw so that he can get close and fucking kick and shoot the woman. I feel like he's got a problem with that. I always say I think Leon's problematic. And axe. Oh, shit. Oh, shit, on the side? Kneecaps.
Nice.
Oh, damn. He's gotten quite brutal. Oh, my God. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, this one's like way more brutal than like others. Lot of gore, bro. I gotta be honest with you, this is so not a horror game. Like, ostensibly it's scary, but you're like this ultimate badass Giga Chad chin aura farmer who can just fucking RE4 isn't really horror? Yeah, I guess so. You're right. I guess what really depends is how difficult the enemies are. Obviously, this is a showcase. But I thought RE4 was scary because of how overwhelmed you are and how little ammo you have. So it makes you feel very weak. It's super realistic for a guy like you. This is basically how you see yourself, Sean P2. You're like a Leon Kennedy. You have the jaw. And the, okay. Interesting. Interesting. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, my.
Hey, over here.
All right. Finally save somebody. What was so hard about that, Leon? You couldn't do it last time. Yucky. You're never playing this on stream? I will play this fucking game. It's crazy you say that after I played the last two REs. I'll play this game for sure. This game looks fun as shit.
You okay?
Yeah. Thanks.
Leon Kennedy, DSO.
CSO. I'm Grace. Ashcroft. FBI.
FBI.
Ashcroft.
What are you doing here?
It's like part action, part
Someone
horror.
kidnapped me.
Victor, get in.
I don't know.
Well, we should leave.
Uh-oh! Oh my God!
What does Victor want with you?
What?
Grace.
What do you
He
mean?
grabbed you for a reason.
How would they have? Oh my God!
Wait, you're DSO. That's the counter bioterrorism agency, right?
Take this.
Oh shit!
You might need it. Now go. Get out of here.
Holy. Giga Chad.
I'll be fine.
Dude, why have a gate and a shutter?
I hope.
Yeah, the recoil on that's gonna be a little tough. So her parts of the horror. Okay. This is kind of the big game other than GTA of the year, huh? The big, like, AAA game? Is there another one that I'm not thinking of? Other than GTA. Highguard? Highguard, yeah. Highguard's a big one. Highguard 2. Dude, don't put it past them to do an Overwatch 2 and just do an Highguard 2 and force you to buy it. Oh, Fable, yeah. And then 007 to TBD. Uh-oh. You got seen so easily!
Jesus.
What is her plan? Oh, brother. That's not even getting it clean. Like that. I'll leave her to it then. Oh my God. Yeah, of course he's gonna come after you. You just turn the light on. Oh, he doesn't like the light? Okay. Okay, wow, brilliant. Oh, God damn. Watch out behind you. Somebody hungry. Tasty. Tasty. She basically just has less bullets, huh? Why is she so damn slow? That's the real question. Big A with his coffee glizzy feast. Insane +2. How do you cope with this stuff? Oh, damn. They're throwing shit back. Ah, the bullets! See, okay, here's my real fucking question. How do they justify in the video games that you're constantly getting bit by zombies, but you don't become a zombie? Like, what? How? I don't... Just lucky, I guess. Herbs. She's immune? Oh, okay. All right. I guess they do justify it then. But it always throws me off. She's vaccinated? No, brother. Nah, brother. They're vaccinated. Okay? Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. All right? I think we know the difference. Actual in-lore explanation. The entire Resident Evil franchise is set in 2020 following the vaccination. Every game is just different strains of the vaccine and what happened. This is the Moderna headquarters, dude. I didn't know you were watching this. Yeah, Maisie, I don't just watch economy stuff, all right? I watch Leon Kennedy's old ass with his Giga Chad chin. Are we gambling now? They put gambling in my Resident Evil game? This is Mom Donnie's New York in 1 year. True. Fucking true, dude. Oh my god. Oh my god!
Shit.
Yeah, they can take a bullet. They're kind of sponges, huh? I mean, she got headshots. Is he watching or playing? I'm playing right now. This is my gameplay. Oh, fuck! Oh, they just cut it off? Is that you? Atrioc before the year of health? Ew! Okay. I'm glad we got the crafting scene. I love me some good crafting. Uh-oh. Can I ask a sincere question? I ask a sincere question for chatters. As gamers, does anybody like crafting in these type of games? Like, I don't hate it in Resident Evil. It's not a big deal. But, like, just why do it? I don't understand. What's the point? It's all like slot A, tab B. It's I don't know. I don't understand. I don't understand the point of having it. I don't know what it is. I don't know why they do it. It adds to the scavenging aspect. That's probably right. That's probably the reason, right? Like it makes finding different little things better because you can combine them. So there's some player choice. But I just feel like all the things you do with it are so obvious. Like I got 2 green things, I combine them and make a double green. It just doesn't.
Effective.
Yeah, I'm not really a consumable guy. I like to keep them and save them for the final boss. And then I don't need them, and I'm like, wow, I wasted all that time saving all these consumables. Uh-oh. He's hungry. Shit. Oh, damn. Not as tough as I thought. Oh my god! The confidence it would take to to go axe first on that thing? Why? He's getting stuck everywhere. Oh my god. Do you think Leon Kennedy is related to Robert F. Kennedy? And perhaps they're part of the same universe? They're both. Hey, I'll be honest with you. It looks really good. Looks really fucking good. I'm excited to play it. That shit looks peak. Wait, what else? Did anything else I wanted to watch? You know, I'm not really doing January streaming too much, but while I'm live, did I want to watch something? What's the broccoli video length? Broccoli video. Bobby Broccoli, Canada's most infamous mayor. Actually, that's 90 minutes. He smoked crack maybe once. Was it Rob Ford, isn't it? Smoke cracked maybe once. Everyone smoked cracked maybe once. Like, that's not even... what's going on with Tesla earnings? Let's see. Tesla earnings. Revenue down 3%, earnings down 17% from a year ago. Doesn't seem that good. Energy storage doing decently well. Planned robotaxi expansion. Okay, that's all. Okay. XAI. It's going to invest $2 billion into XAI. Cybercab is currently in the tooling stage. This doesn't look good. For the full year, Tesla profit declined 28%. Automotive sales declined. But we're going to ramp up Tesla, Semi, and Cybercab. Doesn't look good. I don't understand. Maybe the stock will triple, though. Watch the new Lemonade Stand. I've said there isn't comments talking about the interview that was very well done. I thought it did a fantastic job, but the episode just came out, bro. Give people time. People usually comment on the beginning for the first day. Also, a lot of people watch the podcast like they watch it in chunks. Like based on our data, they watch like 30 minutes, take a break, come back the next day, watch the rest or whatever. Like that's how they do it. So, but they still comment like they watched it all. Chat, I guess I'll just end there then. I don't have any crazy videos to watch. I do want to watch. Oh, unless there's like maybe I can watch a good work or something. Well, I'm not really off to do anything right now. I do have to work out today. What happened to X? It's about Grok. There's a good work. Oh, the Almost Friday. Let's watch something for fun. Let's watch. There's a new Almost Friday called Western Standoff. I've been wanting to watch it with the chat. Let's watch that. Almost Friday, Western Standoff.
Woo! That'll be 50 cents.
Clayton Briggs. Riley Snakebutt Callahan. Well, well, well. There you are.
Here I am.
It was dumb of you to come looking for me, Callahan.
Don't I know it?
I've killed every bounty hunter sent to take me in.
That's the story. Folks say your draw is quicker than lightning.
Ain't no story. 19 men, dead.
20's my lucky number.
Words are cheap, Callahan. You ready to die, boy?
Yes.
Yeah, they got budget for this
I hate
one.
my life.
Say when.
When? What the fuck?
Fuck, why didn't you shoot me?
Why didn't you pull out your gun?
I forgot.
You forgot to pull out your gun?
I forgot. This time's for real. Say when.
When?
I'm coming home, baby.
You don't even have a gun.
Please shoot me. Send me to my family.
Are you playing mind games with me, boy?
No mind games. My wife and son are dead. I miss them, and I'm ready to see them again.
That's sad.
My homestead was stormed by savages last month. They killed my wife and my son Junior not before having their way with both of them. They started with my wife, made my son Junior watch 6 sons of bitches. She was just the appetizer. My son Junior was the main course. I hid in the bush outside. I heard the whole thing. I didn't even try to stop them because I'm a coward.
Jesus Christ, Callahan, that's horrible.
Yep. Worst case scenario.
You gotta talk to someone.
He can talk to me. Howdy, Snakebite.
Well, it ain't Barlow Boone.
Ain't nobody cheats at Barlow Boone's table and lives to tell a tale.
Is that right?
2 options. You pay me back the money you stole with those crooked cards, or you pay with your life.
Life. Life. I'll pay with my life.
Last chance. Corner coffin, you choose.
Coffin.
Don't shoot him, Boone. He's fixing to get himself killed.
Stay out of this, Clayton Briggs. Come on, Boone. Fire away.
Kelly, I swear to God, I'll put you in the dirt.
Do it. You won't.
See?
Put my body in the dirt, put it in the coffin, throw my dead body in the creek. I don't give a shit. Just shoot me.
What the fuck is going on, man?
His wife and kid got killed, and I think he didn't do anything to stop it, and he's racked with guilt.
Clayton, stay the fuck out of this. Boone, if you don't shoot me, everyone's gonna think you're a pussy.
Not so fast, boys. If anyone's gonna put a bullet in this son of a bitch, it's gonna be me.
Pistol Penelope. That you?
I know what you did, bastard.
What'd he do?
He set fire to my wagon and killed my horses. Why'd you do it, Callahan?
Literally no reason. I'm just an evil guy.
No, I think you just did it so she'd kill you.
Mind your own business, Boone.
Everyone shut up! Move and you die, boy.
Come on, bitch, shoot me, bitch.
Does he want to die?
Yeah,
Desperately.
Then I ain't gonna kill him if he wants to die.
I don't want to die. Please, 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 please don't kill me while I live. Don't kill me.
Ain't nobody killing anybody today.
Luther?
It's good to see you, old friend. Looks like I got here just in time.
Well, well, well.